Good morning, Kevin Hastings, Zach Mayhew, Hunter Yancey, Shock Joxx, KTC Broadcasting. I'm Kevin Hastings, but good morning, good afternoon, everybody. Whenever you're listening, good evening. I'm trying to figure out how to turn on. Can y'all hear that?
I can.
Y'all can.
I couldn't when I didn't have my headphones
Yeah, there
on.
you go. Let me shut up.
What am I hearing?
You couldn't hear our music in the background?
I didn't have my headphones on until just now. I'm trying
to
get the sharing to go.
The sharing.
Yeah.
Are you Facebooking over there?
Yeah, I gotta share. I gotta get us out there. Let the people know.
Well,
We are
everybody
live.
watching live online, we want to thank you. You can watch every day live when we do our shows Monday, Wednesday, Friday for the most part. We'll let you know if it's different than that. On Facebook, we will post them live afterwards on YouTube as well. You can listen to the podcast, Spotify, iTunes, and about every other place, right, Hunter? Is that
yes.
We click on our thing and it says it's in 8 places. So
Yeah, we have an app that we look at,
If you
keep
can
up with
find
our
them.
numbers, and that's what it says. It says 8 different platforms. I'm like, okay,
We'll
people
take
just
it.
gotta look.
the people.
The people just gotta look. The main 2 that I do know is
Whose car is going off out there? Is that one of y'all?
I don't know.
Let's check it out. We got a car alarm going. I don't know if Andre's
was not
taking
one of
care of
ours.
that or what. But good morning, good afternoon, good evening to everyone. We got a fun show planned for you today. We got XFL preview. We got
Yes.
Hall of Fame baseball to talk about. We touched on that the other day. They finally we got our people that's going to be in it. We've got. Oh, I lost my note there for a second. Back up. We've got a Mount Rushmore to do today. We've got the Atlanta Braves all-time starting lineup. That means every pitcher, catcher, whatever, the whole lineup. We're going to let Hunter and Zach. They're Braves
I'm 23.
fans.
Mine's mostly relevant.
Yeah, they're Braves fans.
Mine's mostly
So I'm going to let them be the
players.
final word, and I'll mediate between the two. Exactly. I guess I could turn hush us up there that people listen online. And Hunter, I did forget to set up where people could look at our shot here. When I'm looking at it online, and like when we was talking about Ric Flair yesterday, had a little fun with that and for everybody. So let's see, Hunter.
Yeah.
We've got some true false today.
Mm-hmm.
Draft boats.
Whew.
Draft boats. You know what I mean by that?
Yeah, going to Las Vegas.
You're going to have to ride a boat to be drafted this year.
I can't wait for someone to push, Goodell in the water.
I don't know how.
That'd be hilarious.
I don't know how deep it is.
What is it in front of where are those big fountains at?
It's
Is
at
it?
the Bellagio.
Yeah, that's what I thought. The Bellagio.
I've never been there. Have you?
No.
All right. So I don't
I've
know.
not even been to Vegas.
Okay. So I don't know how deep it is to be able to tell you exactly. So what they're going to be doing is they're going to have the draft guys looking at the pictures in Vegas. They're going to be coming up on a pontoon boat. You're going to be taken to the stage. While on the stage, there's a couple walkways out where you can go and see. I'll have to look at that stuff later. It's obviously not coming up like I want it to. Where you can walk out and do the interviews for the TV guys. I guess who does the draft? Is it ESPN does the draft?
Yeah, I think it's ESPN for the first 1 or 2 rounds.
Has Kuiper quit yet? Like he said he would 10 years ago? He didn't quit.
I think it's on ESPN first 2 or 3 rounds, or at least the first 2 days, and then the rest of it's on NFL Network because the rest is like.
Well, Kuiper said he was going to quit
7.
if Clausen wasn't a good quarterback. The Panthers have had been through 2 coaches since drafting Clausen. So at what point is Kuiper held accountable to his word that he should quit his expertise in the draft process? I guess when you're getting checks with 2 commas in it, you're not going to quit unless they push you off somebody's going to have to push him in the water. Maybe McShay can push him in the water.
That'd be nice.
That'd be funny.
That'd be funny.
Mess up that hair
That'd
a
be
little
really
bit.
funny.
Now, if he got pushed in the water, they would have to call in OSHA to clean up the oil slick in the fountain coming off that hair.
Be just as bad as the BP oil spill.
Kuiper's got some
Wild hair.
some product in there. All right, couple of things we want to talk about today. Like I said, we're going to talk a little XFL.
I'm excited.
Atlanta Braves starting lineup all time. A little true false for fun. And then a couple of other things here and there. Hunter, let's start. Last night, real quick. Let's on the top of the news. Let's talk a little bit about the fight last night.
Woo!
Kansas State. At the end of the game, what happened was the Kansas was dribbling the basketball out. Kansas State players stole the basketball. Went down the court for a layup. 3 Kansas players trailed. One of them, the guy that got the ball stolen, decided to go for the block shot. Blocked the shot, stood over him.
That was a big block too.
And then
that was a grown man.
And I
block.
thought I think everything up to that point was okay.
I'm not upset about it.
I guess the point it got started, the problem was when he walked over and stood over him while he was on the ground, and then the pushing and shoving started, where it ended up with both teams clearing their benches pretty much, and a fight between the teams broke out underneath the basket, and it bled into the student cheerleading / handicap section is what Bill Self said. So a lot of unawareness over something so small as to, I guess someone was disrespected.
Disrespect.
And you know how that's how we do it. That's how we do in society. That if instead of walking away from someone disrespect you have to make them pay. I guess. And
we got to get in each other's face.
But either way, I don't have a problem with the guy stealing it. I don't have a guy with the guy blocking a shot after it got stolen. If you don't want the ball stolen from you, pass it to someone else. Even if it's time dribbling out the clock, the defenders are gonna. You're getting beat. Sometimes the coaches want you to do some, play a little defense. Sometimes you just don't know. Yeah. But either way, I've been in that situation on both ends of it so many times that I just didn't. I wouldn't think that it would be a, that would just be an issue. I would just, cross him over, trying to make it. Personally, if I was dribbling and the guy was trying to steal the ball when he's up, I would try to shake him and make him look stupid. If you can't do that, I would just pass it to someone else and they can do it. Like. The best thing in basketball is just pass it back and forth. He ain't going to run back and forth from you for 10 seconds. He'd get tired. So they could have easily avoided that part. They could have let him lay it up. They could have blocked it. I don't care about the block. The fighting into the stands, I guess, is the dumb part, right?
Yeah, it's kind of dumb. You should have just let it go. So what? He wanted to score. You're still up by, what was it, 30? Almost 40. Like it was a blowout. So if he wants to go up and get that extra layup with like 30 seconds left, let him do it. I can understand why people would be upset about it because, I'm just trying to run clock out. But you have to look at it from the defender's standpoint. He's like, man, you're basically – it's kind of embarrassing right now that you're just trying to play keep away with us and just let it run out. We don't even have a chance. Everybody thinks, you just need to roll over and die because you're already down by 30 points. They've always said play till the final whistle. I can't give the guy fault, but I also can't fault the guy who chased him down and got the block, that he was playing to the whistle too. Should you have stood over him? No, you shouldn't have stood over him. You know why? Because the scoreboard already's telling him, hey, you're losing. You didn't have to rub it in his face.
And
you blocked it. Your team's down by 30. I think it was almost 40. You got your shot blocked. And, it was a strong block.
Final score was 81-60. So
21-point blowout. I think it was dumb. Did you see the guy coming in there with the stool? And then one of the coaches grabbed it?
Well, they showed the replay, Hunter. According to replay, he actually dropped it before the coach touched the stool. So apparently he voluntarily dropped it. So he picked it up, wound up. It was... As a fan, I was showing Zach earlier trying to get to it. Was the best part of it was when they put the JR overlay over it. Oh my God! Start the damn match!
Yeah.
From WWE, that was when he picked up the chair. I saw somebody put that on the Twitter, and I just thought that was the funniest part about it. Does Hunter coming up in the next month? I think I was reading Jay Billis online talking about the name, image, likeness.
Yeah.
And that's going to come up. They're going to have to make some decisions. A couple of states have already put in the process that they can be paid, and we have this talk all the time and about what is and what's fair and what's not. And the point at some point is that a $1 billion industry is you've got to find a different way to pay the student athletes, but we don't have a problem with it in any other sport.
Mm-hmm.
Like if you're an Olympian, you can still go to college and run track and take those.
Well, I mean, here's the thing. You got to think about it. What's that 16-year-old phenom tennis player that just knocked out Venus?
Mm-hmm.
Coco?
Mm-hmm.
She's 16. You mean to tell me that she's not making that money? That
Yeah.
when she wins these tournaments, she's not getting the payday?
And why do they never ever go back to that, Zach? Like they'll say they act like this is the only opportunity you'll ever get to go to college. Like you've already went. If I'm going to get paid $50 million, I obviously learned what I needed to in college per se. And if I want to go back and finish that degree, I can obviously afford to pay for it. And guess what? They have loans nowadays, right?
Right.
You can get a loan to get it to get the degree. And I'm not poo-pooing the degrees or anything. Some degrees are better than others, but the way it's valued about everything. I looked it up and I can't remember where my tweet is, but the average scholarship actually is less than an average cost to go to the school. So it's about $2,000 less. So, and then the other thing is, Zach, they say, well, what's fair, what's even? First of all, is the world fair?
No.
Is the world even? So that's the first thing. Is it fair that North Carolina, Duke, and Alabama and Clemson, according to this FBI investigations, or NC State, I guess, they are most of these schools are paying these guys behind closed doors. Now, don't some schools already get an advantage from that? Don't schools get an advantage from being in the SEC as opposed to the Sun Belt Conference? Like, there's so many advantages between each school. Like, for them to come out, for the NCAA to act like, well, this is not even and this is not fair. What I think it makes fair about being able to pay the kids is that it opens it up, because there is only so much money. So if Alabama decides they want the best quarterback in the nation, well, let's say Alabama wants the best defense in the nation, and they're paying all their players whatever it is, someone else is going to be like, well, I can pay Joe Burrow $25 million,
Right.
and you can't. There's always going to be another school that can afford to pay the best player. So when they say all the best players are going to go to the same schools, I think they would actually spread them out more, because you can negotiate more money / more perps or whatever from the school. You understand what I mean?
I would put it if it was me. I got two points that I'd like to see them get to do it. Number one is my selfish point, because I want NCAA football to come back out and they can pay them for their likeness on there instead of the Madden. I like the NCAA game better. But the second thing is put a salary cap for each college. Could you do that? Put a salary cap, and that would spread out.
Right.
Okay, so you were saying pay $25 million. Well, you couldn't pay 4 players $25 million.
Mm-hmm.
You would have to go after the stud that you wanted, and then fill your roster out based on like everybody else would.
Well, Harvard has a $30 billion endowment. They can actually, schools like that, you don't know which schools have what money. Some schools have way more money, and not from athletics than from other things like big donors. So if Harvard started all of a sudden, if they start naming players that you can play, all of a sudden Harvard can be like, Joe Burrow, $20 million, come play at Harvard. Well, where would Joe Burrow be playing next year? Right. Would he be going to LSU for a free education, or would he be going to Joe Burrow? Would he be going to Harvard for a $20 million and a free education? Yeah,
and that would throw in, I guess you would say, how can they pass some of the classes?
Well, also, what about this? So, as well, like Hunter, the cost to go to Appalachian State, it's totally different than the cost to go to Duke.
Yeah.
And you have in-state and out-of-state tuition.
Yeah.
Why can't the NCAA put a set price, per se, on the scholarships? So, for example, if you earn a Division I scholarship, it's worth, obviously, to Duke folks, it's worth $50,000. To Appalachian State, it's worth about 10 maybe. So, why can't they do somehow, we've got all these, the Fannie Mae, Freddie Mac, all these ways to guarantee these loans. Why can't we say, the NCAA say every scholarship is worth, let's start at Duke. Let's not even go higher than that. Let's say every scholarship is worth $50,000. So, Hunter, you qualified for Division I. I give you $50,000. Now you choose where you're going.
Yeah, go to Appalachian State for the $10,000
and then keep the 40.
difference.
Do you understand what I mean by that?
Yeah.
Would that not be a way to do some of that? Also, Zach, let's see what you think about, and I don't know how to, I'm for every person to make as much as they can, I guess, but then again, What about the coaching situation? Most of these schools are public universities. What if these states, because the athletic stations ain't going to do it and the schools ain't going to do it, what if these states started coming out and say, the state of North Carolina, they could easily write a bill that says no government employee is paid more than the governor of North Carolina.
Right.
There's 48 of the 50 states are the highest paid employees, either a basketball or football coach. Is that a good thing for your said state, that the highest paid government employee is a football or basketball coach?
I think the thing that would come into that would be capitalism. You know, we're in a capitalist society, and you get paid more based on what you're bringing in versus what you really are, and that's where it goes back to.
But teachers don't.
That's exactly that's versus
right. That's my point on this is that
exactly
these are government employees. So
right.
there's a set. There should be a set, standard of teachers have a pay scale.
Mm-hmm.
So I understand if you let's say they wanted to pay. I think it would be better to say like North Carolina and their staff gets, $500,000 or $1 million for your staff. Do with it whatever you want. Okay, figure it out. But after that, like if Mac and them want to make bonuses off Nike and Adidas stuff, that's fine. But you've got to let everybody be able to do it, I think. And one of the things that I always like to try to bring up and with the guys that are against it, and it's not just to me, it's not just the football and the basketball and players and stuff. So this is a baseball town, right? Let's say Ralph Roberts or over in Bessemer, Chris Mason. Okay, let's say they go to college. Chris went to UNCG, Ralph went to North Carolina from around these areas. Now, Millwood went straight to pros. So let's say Ralph goes to North Carolina. While he's at North Carolina, Abernathy Chevrolet, Ronaldo Honda, KTC Broadcasting, What's Up Shopper, Steve's Hardware, whoever, Ace Hardware, could pay Ralph to be in commercials, to be in ads for them. Has nothing to do with him going down to school. It doesn't affect anything. But you take that and say, well, that's a baseball player. Now let's take a little further out. What if a West Lincoln wrestler or local wrestler? Think about the other sports, the volleyball, the other sports, that an Abernathy Chevrolet or one of these local businesses then would sponsor when they go to. I'm looking at how it would help and affect the local kids that aren't necessarily stars. I think each and every one of them could get a chance to say, for example, so what if Ferguson say they paid, West Lincoln wrestler, we'll pay you $10,000 a year, be in our commercials, and then you also do some type of apprenticeship or work type program. You're learning how to work. You're doing a little bit of work. But to me, I think everyone's focused on how much the big guys are going to get paid and not necessarily, hey, this would actually help the people that play different sports. Because now, none of us, Ferguson Carr couldn't get, if Gabby was an all-star basketball player, they couldn't sponsor now. But if she was, then they could. And that would help out a little money, wouldn't it?
Yep. And it goes back into
the poor kids is what I'm thinking about. Like, just every little bit helps.
They're going back into they got that crazy thing where they're amateur versus professional,
right?
And that's how they're towing the line. But it's all got to do with the money that's coming in. You couldn't imagine if we'd see the bottom line, what they're really getting in. We probably wouldn't. It's probably unbelievable.
Well, I think that's the thing that Jay Billis points out more than anything is that once you get into the billions of dollars of these things, this isn't an amateur sport. Everyone in this sport is over 18 years old.
Right.
So they're all adults. Everyone in the building, the candlestick maker, the popcorn maker, the guy selling T-shirts, hot dogs, the guy, the security guy, every single person in the building is getting paid some type of cash other than the folks that everyone in the building is there to actually see. And you make the argument about the scholarships or whatever. Again, like I said, every scholarship's worth different than the other ones. If that's the case, then there's no reason to go to a basketball school. Just go to Duke or wherever, no matter whoever offers you, go to the better school, whichever one costs the most money. Wouldn't that be? I don't know. Just kind of getting off a little bit on that with this fight and how that ends up. Like, some of these players could have went pro. They could be in a different league right now.
Or they could even
is
go
it good
overseas.
for them to? Yeah, right. I just wish, we have this great country of ours, and we have all these independent baseball leagues. You know, why can't in the XFL? We talk to Terry all the time, and now that the XFL is coming back out,
I love it.
I would love to see a minor league football and a minor league basketball to where you don't have to leave the country. That's everyone's biggest thing. Well, I can go overseas. Well, I don't want to go overseas. Well, why does America not have a minor league basketball system and a minor league football system? It could be so easy, and the college football is overtaking it, which it only take a few people to change that. And I would rather see, like Terry's like you don't pay them nothing for football, or they make millions in the NFL. And I'm like, what's wrong with someone making $50,000 to $60,000 a year playing football?
And two, you know, you got people that they know they're never going to make pro. What's wrong with them getting that amount of money for what they did in that time frame? And getting their scholarship. That's not a bad idea either.
All right. Okay, a couple different things there. A little college on that. Let's switch over. Have a little fun for you folks tuning in right now. These two guys, Atlanta Braves fans. Losing my cough here. I asked them to come up with their starting lineup, all-time starting lineup for the Atlanta Braves. Hunter, 22 years old, right? 23. Zach,
41.
So, a few years apart. I'll be the mediator on some of this and what I think and I've seen and everything as well. But we're going to go down.
These are opinions.
Opinions only. Everyone has one.
Opinions and just who I've seen. The only one on here that I never really got to see, there's only 2 of them.
Mm-hmm.
That's it. Everybody else I at least got to watch, because I'm not putting somebody on there I've never seen just off stats.
So, I guess Hunter means only people that's been playing since. You put 1, you said.
Well, I put 2.
Put 2?
I put 2.
Yeah, is Marcelo Osuna on the team?
No. No. He just got there.
Just got there. They signed Osuna for a 1-year deal. Why does he only get a 1-year deal?
What?
He got a 1-year deal, and King Felix got a minor league deal to try and work his way up to the Braves.
What? How come he only got a 1-year deal though? Like, what's everybody scared of? Like, I can't. How did nobody offer him a more than 1-year deal? The dude hit 29 homers last year. Is he that crazy?
Well, here's the thing.
He's a nut. He's a nut.
Here's the thing. Why would you give him, if you're a Braves fan, you know, and you're looking at how the team was run so far, why would you only give him a 1-year contract when you just had a bat for hire and let him go get away in Josh Donaldson? You want to talk about, they called him the bringer of rain. You want to talk about a home run hitter. You're doing the same thing with Ozuna that you just did with Donaldson. You're renting him for a year. If you like him and you like the production he brings to the team, you should have signed him to an extension, not replace him with somebody else to try and fit in your rotation.
He only got 200,000 more. Like, we offered him a 1-year restricted offer or whatever it is, and you guys went $200,000 more to match it. So we actually get a first-round pick from you guys on this too. It's actually like some type of a trade. Like, we got a first round pick.
Yeah, when we could have had the home run hitter that we already had in-house, Josh Donaldson. Instead, we let him walk. All you had to do was offer him a 2 or 3 year contract, because I'm pretty sure he doesn't like jumping around as much as he already has in his career.
Would he have been more expensive than what did he get?
I have no idea what he got.
Where did he go?
I don't know who signed him, but he's not with us anymore.
He just signed the other day, I thought.
It was recent. I think it was last week.
Twins.
He went to the Twins, did he?
Wow. That's out of nowhere.
Well, I mean, the Twins made the playoffs like we did, so they're getting a bomb bringer.
Well, he's already been to Toronto, so.
And so, I mean, he's been everywhere basically.
Sitting there trying to. We're all looking at dumb faces, sitting here looking at our screens. All right, Braves starting lineup. This is baseballscholar.com. If y'all have seen that one, that looks kind of silly.
It is silly.
I don't know about that one.
Yeah.
I'm going to click on a...
I went to Ranker, whatever this Ranker is.
Yeah. That's what you're going with?
I just pulled up positional... I just pulled up different positions and went through it.
I mean, I kind of agree with a lot of this one. They put Chipper D.
All right. They don't know what they're talking about.
All right, so...
He played in the National League. They don't really have DHs. Stupid.
Let me see that pen, Zach.
I went through multiple times.
It's my only good pen.
Out and put in next
disappearing. All right, this is what I'm going to... All right, let's go. All right, guys. Your nomination for the all-time team catcher, the Atlanta Braves.
I think we both went with Javi Lopez.
We did.
Both of you went with Javi Lopez. If you both agree on something, I'm not gonna.
It was a toss-up for me between Javi and Brian McCann. I liked what McCann brought to us the first time. I like what he brought the second time because of kind of more of a leadership role. Second time he was here, but I had to go with Lopez.
I think they had Joe Torre on there from years past. Now he
there's a lot of them on here.
I think he was 9 years with the Braves. So.
All right, so y'all both agree on that.
Mm-hmm.
I guess we're gonna have some weird different things here in just a second. All right, first base. What do you guys have at first base?
I gotta go with Mr. Consistent until the later games of the series with St. Louis and Freddie Freeman. I went with Freddie. I think what he's done so far with the team, he's almost taken the position that Chipper was for years. The guy you knew was going to get up to the plate, be able to put the ball in play, whether or not it was over the fence. He can hit a lot of home runs, but he had over 100 RBIs this season. So he's not just a power hitter. He's more of a hitter for contact.
So if first baseman, I'm trying to just find a couple of different lists to just kind of get some ideas on who all different people have put on these lists. I see a Joe Adcock, I see a Fred McGriff, Zach.
I had
Freeman.
I had Fred McGriff.
So Fred, no matter what,
it's Fred.
It's Fred.
Fred is the best first baseman in Braves history.
I don't want to say this is the best.
You know what, Hunter?
Because think about it.
I would say them two might be as close can get.
I wouldn't have a problem with either player.
Did Freeman played outfield at first, didn't he? Didn't he start in the outfield?
I believe he.
I think he did.
I believe he did. I think he played in.
Because he was a lot skinnier when he first. I met him his rookie year. Yeah, I met him his rookie year. I thought he was in right field.
Well, I think too.
Well, a lot of times if they move you out of the outfield, they're going to move you either to the
first base,
to the corner. The corners,
well,
really.
He put on some weight, so they moved him first. Whether that's HGH steroids, how everybody's doing now. I'm not accused of
it. It is
I'm
what
just
it
saying.
is.
When you put on some weight, you do a little bit different. So, all right, you guys have McGriff and Freeman. All right, so I'm going to pull up Fred McGriff's numbers. Did he make the Hall of Fame, Zach?
I do not think he has. He would be one of those that's going to stay on the 50% mark, I would bet. That's what I would think. Home runs, fantastic.
493 all-time, 284.
Good batting average.
I'll tell you this. I mean, on this ranker.com, they got Fred McGriff 12th, Freddie Freeman 10th. They're right there.
I don't have a problem with either one of them.
I tell you what,
like Fred McGriff.
How about
one you got to watch, one I got to watch.
That's what I think.
How about I'm going to do this, guys, because I think this is what might help in just a little bit once we get to other places.
I was going to say situational. Overall lineup too, where you'd want to put him in. I mean,
that's why I don't really want to call it like all time because you got to remember, I've only been here on this earth for 23 years.
I'm going to put Freddie Freeman at DH. McGriff could pick it. He was a pretty decent first baseman. So I'm going to put Freeman at DH for now, and then we'll see how the rest of the list goes, and then we'll go. Because
even then, if you think about it, 23, I've probably only had a genuine 19 years or maybe even less of being able to seeing and understanding what I'm seeing, not counting like my early adolescent years.
Yeah, you didn't even come in with the early Chipper stuff.
I didn't. I mean, I was born the year they won the World Series or the year after, so I never even got to see it.
It's funny the way we got Chipper is we was going to take Todd Van Poppel, if you remember that name, and he said he would not play for us as the first, so we said, okay, we'll take Chipper.
He went to Oakland, didn't he?
He went to Oakland. And look how that worked out.
He was supposed to be the stud and join the.
He pulled a Kobe.
I don't know. I don't understand why he would join a good pitching staff. But Braves fans 100% appreciate the
That's fine.
The diss turned in okay for you guys. All right,
we got a Hall of Famer. It's fine.
Second base.
Yeah, we know this is going to be different.
I don't think that the Braves have been trotting out too many great second basemen over the years.
This one to me, my pick was more of a heart thing because I used to try and when I was growing up, I used to try and mimic his batting style. I put Marcus Giles.
I don't have a problem with Giles. I put.
I saw one of the lists had Giles. So first is Fred, second base is Mark.
Yeah,
I got Mark Lemke. And that was there's not I mean, you can't nail down a direct
you could
second
say
baseman.
right now, but he's only been in his second year.
What about Albies?
I was gonna say Albies would be
Look,
the only one that
Dan
so
Uggla.
far. I forget Ugly. He couldn't see, man. He would never wear glasses.
Hey,
he was so big. He was
here's
only
the list of
a
all
home
time
run hitter.
Here's a list of every position. This is it makes it easy. There's a Lockhart, a Lemke, Hubbard, Gilreath, Milan, Bowling. Shandy's played a couple of years out there. O'Connell back in the 50s.
I'm not. I
Like,
will never go that far.
That's
back.
what I'm saying. Like y'all's list of second baseman is not the
Until recent.
overwhelming.
Albies is a breath of fresh air.
All right, Albies or Giles. I'll let y'all two choose between those two. Lemke's not. He was serviceable.
Right.
I put it that way. So I'll let y'all choose between Albies and Giles.
That's tough.
That's a
Because Albies,
equal.
even only in 2 years though, he's proven he's one of the best second basemen in baseball right now.
Mm-hmm.
He's a great leadoff man, contact hitter. He's like a Jeter. He's not going to get you many home runs, but he's trying to at least get you on first.
Albies. I don't have a problem with that. I liked him
Now
this year.
we can put Chipper at second base.
If you did that,
And
you could
Terry
move
Pendleton at
I was
third.
trying to move Chipper.
He didn't play much second base at
to
all.
shortstop, but he never played shortstop for us, so I couldn't do that.
I'm fine. I'm fine with either one really. We're either going Ozzy Albies.
I need one to put down.
or Marcus Giles.
Albies.
Albies. Okay.
Put Albies. I'm
I like
fine with
Albies.
that.
All right, so Albies is going to second base. Now, let's move over to third base.
Nah.
There's
All right.
3 good players for that.
There are 3, and one of them could be in 2 different positions.
Yeah, but I couldn't move Chipper to outfield to take
No.
off any of my other outfielders.
He didn't want to take off an outfield.
Chipper's
and
is
then
my
he
third
might not
baseman.
catch a ball out there.
No, yeah, no.
Might get
He might not even
PO'd
try.
Chipper Jones
catch
is
a ball.
Chipper Jones is third baseman for me, and arguably one of the best Atlanta Braves players of all time, if not the best. But see, Chipper Jones holds a place in my heart that I bet all of you have. Maybe like how Mark McGuire is for you in St. Louis.
King Griffey is for me. So
Yeah, that's Chipper Jones for me.
I got Chipper. You could put Terry Pendleton.
He played 49 games
There.
at shortstop, Zach.
Did he really?
They played no games at third base. So he played no game. I mean, not third, second base.
Oh,
He played 49 games at short. Did Chipper in his career, 1,900 at third base, 300 in left field.
then if you could slide him in, I don't even know. But in a real game, I wouldn't want him to be my shortstop.
No,
You just
wouldn't
won't want
him
to do it. Not just put name there.
And I
would
tell
love
you
to have
what,
Pendleton.
he was pretty good in the field. I'm doing this. I want his bat. I want his bat. Left, right, however you want it.
But the other guy that you would slide in his position would be Terry Pendleton, which would be great at the top of the lineup.
I mean, MVP. I mean, played good third
You see,
base.
He was a hitting. He was
He
kind of
just
like
wasn't
Tony
as-
Gwynn, just not quite as good with the
Right.
bat as Tony
Right.
Gwynn. That's what I would rate him as.
Pendleton, I guess, would probably be your first bat off the bench. I mean, he's gonna get.
He's gonna
He's
put it
gonna
in
make
play.
contact.
Yeah.
he's
gonna
gonna
put it in
hit the
play.
ball probably. Shortstop for the Atlanta Braves.
I got for call.
That's what I got. I got Rafael.
All right, I disagree.
Oh,
Not that I
Trying to
disagree. We'll see.
think, who was?
I got a favorite, and I'm not a Braves fan. But
I
trying
used
to
to
think,
like. Wasn't
Blouser.
I think he only played 2 years for you guys.
Wasn't
Renteria.
at one
I love-
time
Hey,
Edgar Renteria?
I love some Edgar Renteria.
Yeah,
Like,
I liked Renteria.
hey, he won the World Series in Miami, in Florida, Miami. I guess you can. I think we got him for one in St. Louis, but like just as he's the best hitter that St. Louis has ever had at short.
I like Edgar Renteria,
and he was
a lot.
very solid in defense. Like,
But I loved Rafael for call.
so here's your nominations for shortstop: Swanson, Simmons,
Man, not Davis,
Renteria.
He's too young.
for Kyle, and Jeff Blouser. Zach.
Yeah, I still think for call.
I like,
Just because I want him to be a
Rafael
leadoff
Furcal.
hitter.
Well, now we got 2 people fighting for a leadoff spot. You got for call or Albies.
You could do 1 and 2 on both of those.
Yeah.
1 and 2 Albies. I put him at 2.
I was
no
I was trying to
question
type in
at all.
Edgar Renteria, and they still won't let me. So let's
Nope.
put Rafael for Kyle.
Rafael for Kyle.
All right. Well, my Braves team will beat y'all because I got
Edgar Renteria.
Edgar. All right, I can name the
Edgar
out.
Renteria.
You got
If you put those two side by side, Renteria is more capable of getting you a home run when he's at the plate. He's just a bigger guy.
I mean, he's a good hitter. Absolutely. The Braves outfield is pretty easy to do. Dale Murphy in left field, Andrew Jones in center, and Hank
Yep, that's what I've got.
Aaron in right.
I put Ron Gant in left field, but those were the two. Hank Aaron and Ron Gant were the ones that I didn't.
I'm going to be the deal breaker, and I'm going to not. Hey,
if you want to put Dale
put it this
Murphy
way.
on there, that's fine. I was having a hard spot to put him in.
I like Ron Gant. I have no problems with Ron Gant. I just don't think you put him in over. Put it this way. Every Braves fan my age or older loves Dale Murphy. It's like, you know how older guys like Pete Rose? They love Dale Murphy. And I didn't even think...
My grandmother
I personally
loves
didn't
Dale
think he was
Murphy.
that great.
Right,
But Braves fans love him to
My
death.
grandmother loves Dale Murphy.
He's a blue-collar type
Now,
player.
Ron Gant, if you want to bring up lifting weights and steroids and stuff, he might be in that boat, okay? He might... If his biceps... look up Ron Gant real quick.
Andrew has to be on there.
Him and Albert Bell had the same stature.
To me, Andrew has to be on there, though. Andrew Jones.
Yeah.
Probably
Oh,
one
yeah,
of the best
absolutely.
center fielders I've ever got to watch. He could cover a lot of ground in center field. But I'll tell you what, so can Acuna.
Look at that.
He's about to rip.
Pull up Albert Bell beside. I mean,
He's
those
about,
two were like
he's about to rip out of his
those two were
shirt.
like the same.
I mean, Gant had some of the biggest biceps
Yeah.
I've ever seen in my life.
He was one of my
As far as
favorites.
baseball players, look at that right there.
He was one of my favorites of the '90s Braves teams. Him
Yeah, he
and
played.
Dave Justice.
Yeah, when he come to the Cardinals, and
Man, if
he just looks like a walking muscle.
if I couldn't put Andrew Jones at center field, I'd put Acuna there right now.
Well, we had 3 All-Stars back in the day. I think we had Otis Nixon. He wasn't All-Star, but he was a great player. Otis Nixon, Dave Justice, and Ron Gant in outfield.
Well, I'm gonna. So bench players: Pendleton, Gant,
I'll put down some right here if you just want to kind of look over, look over. You can put
Justice,
McCann, Justice,
Eddie
Teixeira.
Matthews, Teixeira,
I mean, these are studs.
McCann, Torrey,
Mm-hmm.
and I added Deion Sanders on there and Brian Justice. I mean, not Brian, just Brian Jordan. Everybody wants to give Deion all that credit, Zach, but Jordan was he's probably a better baseball player than all of them. When you put them together like that. Let's turn my word wrap on so I can see what I'm typing here. And let's see, Brian Jordan. All right, folks. So our Atlanta Braves starting lineup, all time according to Zach and Hunter. And you can send your hate mail or comment on the Facebook page there and tell them how terrible a job they did today on the Atlanta Braves all-time starting lineup. So the lineup is at catcher Javi Lopez, first base Fred McGriff, second base Ozzie Albies, third base Chipper Jones, shortstop Rafael Furcal, left field Dale Murphy, center field Andrew Jones, and right field Hank Aaron. We put Freddie Freeman at DH. You could probably put Freeman and Hank Aaron and Dale Murphy, kind of rotate them around in the outfield and DH, however you'd want there. Off the bench, Terry Pendleton, Ron Gant, Deion Sanders, David Justice, Eddie Matthews, Mark Teixeira, Brian McCann, Joe Torre, and Brian Jordan were the nominations. None of them are official. There's honorable mentions from us. And then pitching-wise, we didn't really get into it. I'm going to just go off the top of my head, see what all we can do real quick here. So Maddox, Glavine, Smoltz, Necro, and Warren Spahn. And that's just 5 off the top of my head there. I'm sure that we've had some, or you guys have had some decent.
Who was our major league closer, like the guy off major league? What was his name? Do you remember? Hyped up, looked like he was on steroids. He'd come running out there, and they wind up trading, or he wind up.
Mark Wohlers?
Might have been
John
Wohlers.
Rocker?
Rocker.
Is that y'all's all time?
It was Rocker. He was crazy.
What?
John Rocker. He was a nutbag. That is one thing you say. All right, I'm going to save this to the desktop for you guys. So Braves all-time lineup. And there you go. Hunter, do you think the Kansas City, they need to give the Chiefs fans some grief over the Tomahawk chop since they give the Braves fans and fuss at you guys about it?
Well,
The
believe
Chiefs
it or
were-
not,
The
believe
Chiefs
it or,
started it, didn't they?
Well,
I think they did.
I think they did, but I'll say this: believe it or not, I'm glad you brought that up. I saw somebody retweeted on Twitter. I should have screenshotted it, but it was a news article, not a news. Well, just an article somebody had written.
Yes,
and
sir.
it was like author Native American says the Kansas City Chiefs are not doing Native Americans any justice. I was like, come on, man. How else do you want us to remember your heritage if they're not always talking about the Oklahoma Trail? You want us to remember your
got a good.
the Native
you're
Americans
saying you
like
got
that.
you got a choice of a good or
Yeah,
bad.
a good depiction or a bad depiction. So the Atlanta Braves. So what? Big deal. I mean, I understand how Washington's name can be a little edgy. I understand it. I'd be fine if we changed it to, I don't know, the Braves. I'd be fine with that.
Washington Braves.
Washington Braves. I don't care. The Kansas City Chiefs. What's wrong with the Chief? The Chief was the head of the Native American of an Indian
I
tribe.
told you what you guys should do.
I don't know. I mean, I don't understand.
What the Redskins should do, Zach. Have you seen the logo?
I have not.
All right, this is the way I would do it.
I would love for them to just completely do this name. And I put it one year for my fantasy football team. I want them to be the Capital City Crooks.
I just
Talking about white
look, this
Washington.
is all they have to do. You can keep the name. You can be the Washington Redskins all you want, and all you have to do is in that circle put a picture of a Redskin potato.
Yeah.
The
A
Washington
Redskin
Redskins. There you
potato.
go, Zach. That's all they got to do. They can
Look,
keep the same everything. Just
Thing with
change the
Washington
logo.
too is we have so many people walking around with hog noses on. Why can't we just be the Hogs? I mean, I don't know. You want to change the name, but I don't understand why Native Americans get upset unless it is with this name. I get it. I don't understand why they get
cool one.
upset
I'm trying to pull
when
that one.
when schools, universities or professional teams use them as mascots. To me, that's them holding on to, the area. Missouri was known for Indians. The Midwest was known for Native Americans.
And the whole thing about it is, I guess, as far as the mascots things, that you're supposed to be proud of your mascot and
Yeah.
your team. Like
Right.
you're the one. Like you're
Yes.
like I'm Tiger proud or I'm whatever. And I guess that's kind of that's the argument.
Are
with
you
all
upset that Florida State's called the Seminoles? Literally the name of a tribe in Florida.
They changed the Washington Bullets name back in the day. You remember that?
Yeah, that one was weird. Like I didn't quite. So they were saying there was so much crime in the city. Well, it's not the basketball team's fault.
It's not the basketball team's fault.
It's not.
I mean, seriously, when they talk about Native Americans in school, most of the time it's when they talk about the Pilgrims getting here and the first Thanksgiving. That's what they bring up. Or they talk about the Trail of Tears going through Oklahoma. That's not a very good depiction of Native Americans. And we have these teams that are out here bringing light to them. The Chiefs. That's a great name. And you're upset because over the name? I don't like it. I understand.
If they
I
change it, just make
understand
it a good
Washington.
name. That's all
I
I will say
understand
about it.
Washington.
If they
I
change
get
make
it,
a good
but
name.
what else would you want
I
them to
mean,
be called? The Kansas City what?
want-
how much-
Plains?
I want to be
How
the
much worse
potatoes.
can you be than a pelican?
How much worse can you be? How much worse can you be than a wizard?
The Pelicans
Yeah.
or the Wizards.
The Wizards. I'm a wizard, yar.
That's Hunter's team, by the way.
mean,
I
He's
know,
a
that's what I'm
Wizards
saying.
fan.
I'm a Washington Wizards and Redskins fan, and I'm sitting here saying I understand the complaint about the Redskins name, but the
I-
Wizards name is awful.
All right, Zach. It's time for some true false with Zach Mayhew. You ready?
This will be quick.
When Zach, you walked in earlier, I showed you a picture of Armani Edwards, the two-time National Player of the Year and National Champion from Appalachian State, in a Cleveland Browns jersey. Now, the other NFL jersey he wore was a Carolina Panthers jersey. Remember we brought up Jimmy Clausen earlier.
Right.
Clausen was second round. Armani went third round to the Panthers. At the NFL Combine, half the league said that Armani was a quarterback. The other half of the league said he should try wide receiver. The Bill Polians in the group. So, John Fox, I don't know where he got his info, though, Zach, but he watched neither one of them throw a pass. He admitted he didn't watch tape on Clausen or Armani Edwards. And he drafted Clausen in the second round to be his backup or future quarterback, and he drafted Armani and made him the punt returner.
And traded up.
And traded up to get Armani to make him the punt returner. Now, he's never caught a pass in his life, and we're out here trading up to move him up. Now, Zach, true or false? If the Carolina Panthers that year would have made Armani Edwards the starting quarterback, they would have the exact same number of Super Bowls as they do right now.
That'd be true.
0. Hey, all I'm saying is you got the champions here, 2-time player of the year, Armani Edwards, didn't get a chance. I wish he'd have got to throw some. Let him fail.
They threw him in at wide receiver, and he did fairly decent, not ever playing the position. I mean, there was some flashes from him.
Totally different, positions. I feel bad for the quarterbacks that they don't never get a chance to fail, and they have to change positions or move teams or something before they even get a chance to fail at actually playing the quarterback position. Like, he could have switched to wide receiver, third, fourth year, and still been just as good or bad at wide receiver. He's in Canada right now playing wide receiver. He could have come in, tried quarterback for 4 or 5 years like Tebow, and if you failed, then switch it to something else. But go out there and try to be the quarterback. Only so many people can throw a football, and if you're one of them, I just keep trying.
It wouldn't hurt us. I mean, our offense was run the ball anyway. It wasn't going to hurt to put an option quarterback back there.
You would have picked Armani and put him out there. Now, remember, Cam only had 3 winning seasons. You could have drafted Von Miller right there instead of Cam. So you would have had Armani out there and Cam, and then Kuechly and Von Miller on the same defense if you'd have done that. But I'm not saying it's the Panthers' fault. I'm just saying, for example, John Fox. Mel Kiper said if Clausen isn't successful, he quits. And he wasn't successful, and then Armani wasn't. And the same coach drafted them both without watching either one of them. So you have to put some of that on Fox. Do you not a little bit?
Oh yeah, absolutely. You don't put. I mean, you're the one that's going to get fired if your team's horrible.
Right.
And he didn't watch any tape.
Even if you didn't, how does he admit that out loud? Yeah, I never watched Clausen, any tape of Clausen. Or Armani.
Maybe he really did watch them. And he just wanted to say he didn't watch them, so it wasn't.
He didn't have to blame and thought they were good.
Yes, I didn't really watch them. I just took somebody else's opinion for it, so I don't get the blame for him being so bad.
That was Herney's fault. Is that what he was blaming? Was he there then? He there then?
Yeah, Herney was there.
In 2007? I guess he was. All right, Zach. Want to have a little fun with Armani Edwards and how he got the shaft. So let's go over to our XFL coverage of the day. Woo! Hunter is excited.
I am excited.
Back up, I want to name the.
I'm gonna go. I've tweeted this multiple times. I'll follow XFL on Twitter, and I'll quote the tweet. And I'm serious. Anybody that doesn't want to see this league succeed is not a true sports fan. I don't see the problem in us having a spring season football season.
Mm-hmm.
I don't understand. This is an opportunity for guys that maybe weren't quite good enough to be drafted, or maybe they were cut from NFL teams to continue to play, make money. And this also, you got to look at it as this is the opportunity for the NFL to use this as another place to get talent.
Well, I want to see, and one of the main reasons I do want to see from one of these startup leagues, Zach, is the quality of quarterback play will improve. The more professional football type leagues you have, think about all the guys that in college, okay? If they're, let's just go for the first top 100 schools in college. They each have 3 quarterbacks.
Yeah.
Right? The second and third guy on some teams could start for a lot of the other teams. How many kids never get to play a down of college football, wasting away at Alabama as the third-string quarterback, or at Oklahoma as the third-string quarterback, and never play
at Ohio State if he don't leave.
And they could go to somewhere like North Dakota State or somewhere else. Well, we never get to see those guys develop at all. And then once college is over, there's nowhere for them to go to develop. There's nowhere for them to go to keep doing what they're doing.
I mean, that's how this league really is going to play out for a lot of players. It's an opportunity for them to to get tape back out there and show NFL teams that, hey, I can really play, and I can play against top-level competition, because a lot of these guys at one point, maybe they were drafted, just they got cut. I'm sitting here looking. I know he got hurt because I keep up with some of the XFL tweets, but Landry Jones was supposed to be the quarterback for the Dallas Renegades. Landry Jones was Ben Roethlisberger's backup. I mean, and he played a few games and he looked competent. And here's the thing. Who's to say he couldn't play at the NFL level? Just he was behind Ben Roethlisberger.
I know. I think the Dallas coach is
Bob Stoops.
That's what I thought. I thought
Bob
it was the old
Stoops.
Oklahoma coach. So I mean, and they got some good stuff from the last XFL experience. The camera angles that we get now was from.
They've
XFL.
got rule changes. Sometimes you don't even have to go for an extra point.
I'm going to go
anymore.
through all the rules in a second. I want to name the teams. We've got the Dallas Renegades.
I still don't know who I'm going to root for, though. The uniforms are sick.
DC?
I do like, because I was about to say, they've got some big names out here, like Cardale Jones, the quarterback for DC. He won a national championship for
I
Ohio
think they're going
State.
to change the Dallas name.
They are?
Yeah.
The Renegades.
Yeah. Might need a name change.
What to what?
Make some people mad.
Why?
Charles, they might not like being called a renegade.
What's wrong with that?
Huh?
They're
Might
not
be in
gonna
trouble like
change
a
the name.
gunslinger.
Who knows? You talk about the snowflakes out there worried about the Renegades. I thought that. I can't believe they named it close to whatever the Cowboys was. I was just on the page that had the names. Where did they go? All right. Hunter's saying he didn't know who he was going to be. He messed me up there. All right. The Dallas Renegades. The Houston Roughnecks, which I like their logo, is kind of a flashback to the Oilers logo. It looks kind of just like the old Houston Oilers logo.
It does.
The LA Wildcats. So I don't understand why there's teams in Dallas or LA. I mean, you really don't
NFL
need
teams.
You really don't need Cowboys fans, or you don't need LA people. If LA's not going to come out and watch the Chargers and the Raiders, they're not going to come out and watch the Wildcats, I would imagine.
That
The
is true.
Wildcats, that's the best name they could come up with, the LA team?
New York's got a nice name, but again, why does it have to be in New York?
Why do they need a New York team at all? I get the reason
They're doing it for big money markets.
I was about to say, what they did is it looks like they chose
Big cities.
St. Louis isn't a big city, but and neither is Tampa, but Dallas, Houston's the third largest city in the country, LA, New York, St. Louis, Seattle, Tampa, and DC. DC's the Defenders, the Tampa Bay Vipers, the Seattle Dragons. I've been waiting for a team to be named the Dragons in one of these sports forever.
Isn't that what UAB
The Battlehawks.
UAB is the Blazers,
Right.
but they use a dragon.
And the New York Guardians are the teams.
The Battlehawks for St. Louis have got nice uniforms, and I like their quarterback, Teamu. Is that how you say his last name? He played at Ole Miss. I liked watching him at Ole Miss. He was pretty good.
What if people like?
Here's what's so crazy, though.
There's not enough money in it.
The Vipers, Tampa Bay Vipers, you know who their quarterback is? Aaron Murray. My God, he played almost 7-8 years ago in college. And he decided that he wants to go and give it another run. But that's what I like about the league. It gives anybody second chances, really. And one of the things that I wanted to bring up, too, the Wildcats gave Sean Oakman a chance. Sean Oakman was found not guilty of a sexual assault case that was filed back in 2016, which kept him out of the NFL. 2019, they found him not guilty, and that ruined his chance at an NFL career. And this gave him a second opportunity. Now, for some reason, Los Angeles has moved off of him, but you wouldn't see the NFL really giving him another chance. Maybe another team in the XFL will give him a chance. Think about it. That ruined his possibility at a professional career at the NFL. Whether he was going to be a star or what, it ruined his life for 3 years just to be found not guilty. And he had an opportunity to become technically a professional football player, even if it is on the XFL.
Chad Johnson was supposed to have a kicking.
He didn't show up.
He didn't show. He's supposed to go in as a kicker.
As the kicker.
And then I'd like to see Terrell Owens show up there and just run roughshod over the league.
All right, let's go over some of the rules.
I'll tell you what, though, they do have one. I'm trying to look. Yeah, Los Angeles Wildcats, their running back, Elijah Hood.
Very good.
Elijah Hood from North Carolina.
He got voted by the Gazette as the North Carolina's best running back of all time.
Best running back You got
the
Natron
state of
Means
North
in
Carolina.
that.
Was he from North Carolina?
Yeah, he's
Natron
from
Means
Charlotte.
was definitely
Like,
the Natron
listen,
bomb.
the last few, that's all they ever talk
He
about
went to
is
Charlotte
Elijah
Catholic.
Hood. I'm like,
Why are they talking about Elijah Hood when Todd Gurley's right there?
I would say that
He made a. I mean, he's a starting
say
running
that-
back in the NFL
yeah,
and made a Super Bowl. I mean,
the best Lincoln football team that I ever seen went up to play. I believe it's Tarboro that Todd Gurley played for. the
Yeah,
state
it was when-
championship. He
yeah.
did not play any of the playoffs until the championship game, and he run roughshod.
didn't he have like
over
6
them.
or 8 touchdowns?
It was unreal.
Let's see. Kicker kicks the 25-yard line and must kick the ball in the air and in play between the opponent's 20 and the end zones. You can't kick it in the end zone. Coverage team lines up on the return side of the 35, and the return team lines up on the 30-yard line. Each team must have exactly 3 players outside the hash marks on both sides of the ball and cannot move until the ball is caught by the returner. Out of bounds kicks and kicks that fall short of the 20-yard line result in an illegal procedure, taking the ball all the way to the 45-yard line.
it makes you.
They're
It's
gonna be
bringing.
kicking that ball.
Yeah, it's bringing back
kickoff.
The kickoff,
Kick
which is
returns.
great. I love it.
Players can move when the
Devin
ball is-
Hester would come out of retirement for this.
I know, right? Players can move when the ball. Keelan Pryor could play right now in the XFL.
Mhm.
Return
Return
kicks.
man.
He's, by the way, he just got signed at Catawba College. He's going to play both sports at Catawba, it looks like.
Playing both sports. What's the other one?
Baseball.
Baseball. Gotcha.
He's
Good
not
for
tall
him.
enough to play basketball.
Good. Well, no. I know, but I didn't know if it was going to be like track for
Yeah.
as fast as he
Yeah,
is.
great point. Duh, I wasn't thinking. I was just thinking the 3 major sports. Players can move when the ball is touched by the returner or 3 seconds after the ball touches the ground. The ball is kicked in the end zone is down. It is a major touchback, and the ball is placed at the 35. The ball bounces in bounds and then out of the end zone. The ball is replaced at the 15-yard line. If a player or a return team touches the ball and it goes out of bounds, the ball is spotted where it went out of bounds. If a team wishes to run an onside kick, it must tell the officials before the play of the 2 teams be permitted to line up using traditional NFL rules. There will be no surprise onside kicks. How do you not have surprise onside kick? Of all the things that we have in the X,
Right.
that's the whole point of the onside kick.
Yeah.
It's surprises or line up 10 people and run over one guy that you kick at, or kick it backwards like Zendejas or one of those guys.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Let's see. XFL rule. This is the point after the touchdown. After a touchdown, the team has the option of running a play from the 2, 5, or 10 worth 1, 2, or 3 points. You
I'm
like
about
that?
it. I'm all
You
about
like
it.
that?
You're
That's
behind, you can come
That's
back.
how.
Yeah.
That is basically intramural football rules right there.
Mhm.
Is that's exactly what you got to do? 2, 5, or 10, 1, 2, or 3 points. And that I think that is interesting. If the defense is able to cause a turnover and return the ball to the end zone, the resulting point equal to the number of points the team was attempting.
So if
the
you
team-
get it from the 10, your team gets 3
get a
points.
1, 2, 3 or points.
Yeah.
Right.
Hey, I like it. I'm all for it.
Instead of saying so, no kicking for extra points. Right? Is that what I'm getting?
No kicking for extra points.
All right, the punt kick rule. Punting team cannot release past the line of scrimmage until the ball is kicked. Gunners must line up at the line of scrimmage and are permitted to move laterally once the ball is snapped until it is kicked. Defenders over the gunner cannot cross the line of scrimmage until the ball is kicked. If the ball goes out of bounds inside the 35-yard line, it's a major touchback. If the ball punted lands inside the opponent's end zone or goes out of the end zone, it's a major touchback back to the 35. So if you're a major touchback, it's going back to the 35. Pretty much.
What I'm getting from these kicking rules is that they want them to be able to be returnable, and they want there to be the chance of a big play. If I'm not mistaken, that's the whole point of the XFL. I know it's going to be kind of crazy, but they want it to be entertaining, no dead moments in the game. No dead moments.
All right.
I'm all for it.
Double forward passes.
I like it.
You can throw 2 forward passes now in the XFL, but the first one has to be behind the line of scrimmage. So pretty much whatever you do behind the line of scrimmage is legal. Forward, back,
fine
left,
with
right,
it.
whatever.
I'm fine with it.
And then you can throw another one if you.
So
do.
technically, you can set a bubble screen, throw it in front of you to the guy that's behind the bubble screen, and he can have a second throw. I'm okay with it.
Technically, Hunter, you can run a bubble screen flea flicker.
Yeah.
You can throw it the bubble
Throw it to the
screen.
bubble screen.
He
can
throws
flick
it straight back to the quarterback.
Yeah.
He catches it, just whips it right back to the
it's
quarterback.
not considered a second forward pass.
Nope. That's a backwards pass.
It's a backwards pass. This is going to be fun, man. This is going to be fun. And I see no problem with it. It's going to be fun.
The bubble screen.
Because at the end of the
flea
day,
flicker.
people will say, oh, this is gimmick football. You still got to be able to throw, catch, and hit somebody. It's just now the play designs are going to be so outrageous.
It also allows the jet sweep to be a throw-in play.
Yeah.
Instead
Is the jet sweep not a throw-in
well,
play?
if you hand it is.
Yeah.
If you just do the toss,
you're doing
they're doing that now.
About, the four, and
the
it's considered a
1 foot.
pass.
Yeah, if you toss it up in the air at all, it's considered a pass. All right, XF rule for overtime. It looks like a lot of dots I got to read here. Overtime consists of 5 rounds.
I like this. It's like a penalty kick.
Staging alternating single play possessions as the customary in NHL shootouts or penalty kicks around will consist of 1 offensive play per team, 1 play per team.
Mm-hmm.
Each possession starts at the 5-yard line, and the offensive team has 1 play to score. The team with more points after 5 rounds is the winner. If a team has been mathematically eliminated before all 5 rounds are completed, the game ends. Teams are tied after 5 rounds. The rounds continue until one team is leading after a round. So you can go to
no
extra
ties.
rounds.
I love it. No ties.
For scoring purposes, every overtime score is 2 points. The defensive team, why make that different now? You know what I mean? Go ahead and let them choose. Then if I'm better from the 10-yard line, and I know they can't score from the 10, I'll go from the 10 and try to get the 3 points.
Right.
I don't know, whatever. Who am I to argue? If the defensive team commits a penalty, the offensive team will be allowed to reattempt from the 1-yard line. Any penalty committed by the defensive team after that will result in an automatic 2-point score for the offensive team. So if you get pass interference, you go to the 1. Pass interference again, it's 2 points automatically.
Well, that makes sense.
If the offensive team commits a pre-snap penalty, the ball will be moved back from the original spot per regular rules. If the offensive team commits a post-snap penalty, the play will end and no score awarded.
Huh.
There will be a minimum of 20 seconds between plays, with the ball spotting official working in conjunction with TV and official review. Any comments on that?
I like anything that's different than the current format in the NFL. Anything that's different. I would have liked it if they just did the college rules.
Running game clock and a 25-second play clock.
What is it now in the NFL?
40.
40-second play clock?
25 after timeouts and injuries.
Gotcha.
So it's 25. They're already on 25.
I want to see when they're in the game how many times they have to stop to figure out what these rules are when they're calling these games, because they're going to be new,
Yeah, they're just now finishing up. I just saw the tweet yesterday. The XFL is just finishing up. It's like training camp and scrimmages where they've been putting these rules in place. So I'm excited for it. If I'm not mistaken, I think Fox is the one that's carrying the games, and it starts up February 8th and it's supposed to run until April 10th.
Yeah.
It's 10 weeks.
Up until the draft, really.
Yep. Which, great. That's downtime between sports. NBA's still not picking up yet for, playoffs, and then it'll be early season baseball. So it's a great filler. That's a great time for the XFL because they're not really competing with anybody. It's football.
1 foot in bounds. Y'all like it? Or want to?
I don't care either way on that. College has got 1 foot. Pros got 2 foot.
Yeah, it always confuses me.
That's not a really big deal.
It always confuses me.
I like the 2.
Do you?
I think I like 2 as well. But that's whatever.
I mean, when you're putting in 1 foot, what it does, I will say for fans, it gives you a chance to have more exciting plays because you only have to have the 1 foot in. But the 2 foot in thing, as a receiver, I mean, it's totally different. Like you're so more worried about the sidelines as 2 feet. Because you have to get them in bounds. At 1 foot, you can just catch it. You can almost catch it full speed, just run out of bounds almost every time. Because all you got to do is get the 1.
Yeah, I got to drag the 1.
It makes it. Let me put it this way. I guess where I'm seeing it makes it way harder for defenders if it's only 1 foot. And that's and then now if you are having 1 foot, you're going to be watching. Is the other foot touch out of bounds first? That question is what you'll be doing. Is which foot was the foot 1 foot still down? Because think about it, if you're doing 1 foot. That means technically 1 toe, 1 cleat. So you can get only thing on the ground is 1 cleat, and you got to catch, and that's that's very close to whether you want to allow that or not.
I think I'm fine with it though, just for the fact of 1 foot, 2 foot. I'm fine with it. Just got to make sure you make the catch. Let's get the ground rules down. that at least these officials know what a catch is, and we don't have all these questions like we do in the NFL. Well, did he make a football move? Did he hit the ground with it? I just want them to make sure they know what a catch is.
They reworded the illegal man down field rule. I don't know if that's really something to really worry about too much. Just kind of reworded it based on the action of the lineman, according to what I'm reading, and then a shorter halftime. So not too many differences. I like the old when they threw the ball out and you go get the ball to get it first. I thought that was fun and exciting.
For their championship, just put a cage around it, make it a Hell in a Cell championship.
Here's the thing.
Would this not be a perfect opportunity to implement my hockey time period penalty boxes?
Yeah.
And then if you get two guys in penalty boxes, like Zach said, why not wrestle?
No. But this is, I'll say
With
this.
your pads on. That'd be fun to watch.
I know what the original XFL was. I know I wasn't old enough really to watch it, but I know what it was, and I appreciate that this XFL is trying to be more of an actual football game instead of just pure entertainment.
I think penalty points should go and everybody line up in bull of the ring. And that's how you solve penalty points.
Because and you guys might think the other way. I like how it's not wrestling based. It's just football. You know, that's great. It's just football.
The original alternative, was it the AFL? Am I wrong about that?
The AAF.
Was it AFL?
USF. You talking about USF?
USF.
Yeah, Herschel and Warren Moon, Steve Young, all of them went to
Doug Flutie,
started
Bruce
there.
Smith, I believe. I mean, they had some. Could you imagine making the choice to go to USFL over the NFL? You know, I would like to get to that point where you're having a little bit of a.
Jim Kelly was there too, wasn't he?
Here's the thing: if it's as big of a success as it can be, how many other states are going to be like, "Hey, we would love to have a team"?
Yeah, I mean that USFL was big.
It's okay if you don't have quite the 32 teams that there are, but you talk about how many teams are there right now? 8. If you just had 16 teams, that's fine. That's about the same equivalent as a college conference.
Me
Why
and Kevin
not?
just missed the USFL. I mean, we were both really young when all that was going about, but it was pretty good when it was there.
Because think about it. You know, I could see, from a market standpoint, the XFL, I'd love to see them in smaller markets for the majority. Put a team in North Dakota. Why not? They can play at the same stadium North Dakota State plays at.
Like I was expecting. I mean, they're not going to fill up the stadium, so I don't know why. I like the smaller stuff.
That's what I'm saying.
I was looking for a small list of what it was going to be, and it turned into hundreds and hundreds of people played in the NFL
There's
and
Reggie
the
White
USFL.
right there.
Herschel Walker.
Dude, Herschel.
If I'm not mistaken,
Herschel
he had a better USFL career than he did an NFL career.
When he combines them both, he's like second or third in all-time yards. Like he's in the top.
Yeah.
All-time.
When he came out of college, he was probably the best running back I think anybody ever seen.
Right. I mean, just and people get mad about the Vikings in that trade, but I mean,
it was
Doug Williams.
It was
on
a
the list.
trade, and the Cowboys hit a home run with what they got.
Well, they had to pick the right people.
That's what I'm talking about.
And then Jimmy Johnson had to coach them up too.
It says Doug Williams is there.
Williams. Oh, Henry Williams. No, that's not the same one. I was thinking of the running back back in the day for the for the Rams.
To me, a lot of people. I'm just going to say what Terry says. He just doesn't like that there's 2 football seasons. He's like, why can't it be going on in fall? I'm like, well, why can't it be going on in spring?
Right, and you're not going to get
What's the
people
problem?
watching.
And see, that's what they're doing now is because they know there's going to be a demand more in spring.
Well,
people already watch. I told Terry this one time.
I don't understand why the high schools don't do flag football or something in the spring. If the high school association wants to tell me high school football is safe, and then they also tell you that we need to make the money off football. That's the only thing that makes money. So they tell you both of those two things.
Right.
So then, guys, when I say, well, then why don't we play in the spring and the fall?
They'll say,
no, we can't do that.
7-on-7 games.
I would be fine with a flag football spring league. How fun would that be to watch flag football, Q1 prior and flag football and stuff like that? Even if you didn't, but my point is that they'll sit there and say, we need the money and it's safe, but if I say let's play it both, they'll be like, no, we can't do that.
And this is what I'll say to people that are like, oh, I wouldn't want to watch football in the spring. Do you not go and watch your college's spring game? That means nothing There's nothing on the line. It's your own
can't
team.
find my
It's your own
There it is.
offensive players playing against your own defensive players. There's nothing on the line in a spring game. Meanwhile, you have actual pure competition on the field, guys playing for game checks in late winter, early spring. Why not? What's the problem? I see no problem in it. If anything, you're getting better football now because these guys, I mean, you still had to have some sort of skill in college to even be, because they have a draft format that they use. These guys were picked. It wasn't, I signed up to play in it.
Mm-hmm.
Like, these guys were picked.
Who was it saying yesterday? Or was it?
I don't know.
I think
who
I
I'm
heard it
gonna root
yesterday.
for.
Someone said, talk about the Panthers, is like, who's going to be our quarterback? And it was like Keanu Reeves.
I love it. For those of
the
you that are
replacements.
listening on air right now, if you have Fox Sports, I hope that you support the XFL. I hope the XFL has enough revenue to where they're saying we can do this again next year and not be the AAF that dissolves midway through the season and Steve Spurrier gets a ring just because they were in first. He did. He had a ring made because his team technically would have been the champions.
So here's a list. What we was talking about the other day. Herschel's down to 12th in those. Now, there's his rushing yards when you add them together. He's got about 13,000. No, that was receiving. So rushing. And maybe that's the, what is this, kick return? Okay, now I got where Herschel's at. Got you. So wanted to check on that. So this is rushing. This is receiving. And this is kick return. So Herschel ran for 8,000 yards, received for 4,000, total 12. He's 12th all time. This is a weird, funny list to look at. Rice with the most, Brian Mitchell, Walter Payton, and Emmett. Darren Sproles is 5th, Tim Brown, Marshall Falk, Steve Smith is 8th. Remember that when they talk about Hall of Fame voting.
Yeah.
And everyone else in that list.
Tiki Barber. God, I used to love watching Tiki.
So this list is split
New York
between
Giants.
you've got Jerry Rice, who did nothing but catch. Look at his other numbers.
Nothing.
Not a single anything. Like, look,
total
he didn't
kickoff,
return
Kickoff return yards 6.
6 total kick return yards in his
6.
career. Not once did they stick Jerry Rice back there to return a kick. All of that is receiving. He got 600 yards rushing. 22,000 yards receiving from Jerry Rice. Brian Mitchell, he's got everything. Rushing, receiving, punt, and kickoff.
Well, here, let's do this then. We just talked the XFL. You've seen the list of teams. Who are you going to root for this season? You have nothing to lose this first season. You can choose anybody.
I'll probably have to pick who's playing for who.
Yeah, you want to look at rosters?
Yeah.
You want to look at quarterbacks?
Yeah.
I got the list for your quarterbacks. I don't know if you know all of them. So let's start with.
Jerry Rice played 20 years, by the way.
He did play 20 years. Let's start with the Dallas Renegades.
Average 1,000 a year.
I would rather Hunter.
Yeah.
Now, I'm not naming names or saying anything. Just you,
Okay.
Hunter Yancey.
Yeah.
Would you rather be playing quarterback in the XFL or playing linebacker in the ACC? Right?
It always comes back to Chaz.
I didn't say that.
I know you didn't say, but
I'm
I know
talking
who
about-
you're talking about.
I'm talking about Trevor Lawrence. Would you rather
Trevor
be?
Lawrence.
Would you rather this
Linebacker.
year? Think about it.
Yeah.
This year. Linebacker. Would you rather be playing linebacker for free in the ACC or getting paid to play quarterback
Now hold on.
in the XFL?
No, I know you asked that question, but this is a serious question.
That was
Do
a
we?
serious
No,
question.
I know it's a serious question, but you'll like this question because
It was seriously rhetorical. How about
yeah,
that?
seriously rhetorical. Well, here's a more serious question because it's intriguing, and you would be one that would enjoy to find out if it's true or not. Does the XFL have an eligibility process that you have to go 3 years or not?
I don't know.
Or could you? Because all right, you named Trevor Lawrence. Here's the thing.
Let's see.
Could Trevor Lawrence technically say I'm done at Clemson, even though he technically is supposed to have one more year of eligibility to go to the NFL, and just go play in the XFL, get paid, and then the NFL sees how much of a stud he really is, and he can go to the NFL that way? That's what I want to know, because I don't know if nobody's talked about if there's an eligibility process before you can go to the XFL. Because if there's not,
we're going to click on it right
I would not be surprised if, in college kids for basketball starting to go play overseas instead of going to college. Why would you not stay in your own backyard and go to the XFL?
See, guys like Trevor Lawrence, who knows he's going to get $1 million deal in the NFL,
and gets $50,000 from Clemson.
It's not for him. Yeah, that's not for him. The third string quarterback, again, what if Jalen Hurts was backing up Tua still?
Well,
that would be for him to say, hey, Alabama's not for me. I'm going to go get paid in the XFL.
Keeping with Clemson, Kelly Bryant did not lose a game at Clemson and then got benched. Well, no, he lost the game. He took him to the championship game, but then he got benched for Trevor Lawrence, and Trevor Lawrence was a freshman. Kelly Bryant then transferred to Missouri. Well, why wouldn't Kelly Bryant say, why am I going to transfer and go to school when I can go get paid in the XFL and show it whether or not I've got my stuff? If there's no problem with it, I'm all about it. I'm all about it.
I just wish that there was a league that you could go and play and for whatever price, $20,000, $50,000, whatever.
Look at the bottom. Look at the bottom.
All right, this is last January.
It is not restricted by the NFL rules.
Right, that's what they're saying then.
And Oliver Luck said
but up
at
here
the
at the top, it said they haven't finalized it yet, though. So I don't know how new this is.
Yeah, but
I'm gonna click on Wikipedia and see what it says.
Well, go back. I just want to read what Oliver Luck said though on the bottom of that, because he said he would not be opposed to taking a player who's only had a year of eligibility in college.
Right. Yeah,
because then you have kids like where they were talking about
Clarett.
They're talking about Jadeveon Clowney. Did he even really need to play in college? He was already a man-child.
I wouldn't rule it out, nor would I rule out taking a player who played a year. Let's see, not subject to eligibility rules. He would. That was asking if he would pick high school kids. He said he wouldn't rule it out. So I like it. I like that. I just think about if you're a running back, Zach. If let's say Q1 Pryor this year. We looked at Zeke the other day. I'll use Zeke for an example. He had 200 or 300 carries in high school and 300 carries in college, whatever. So if he had junior year, senior year, and then 3 years of college, that's 1,500 carries for free, basically. That's a lot on a running back. Like if you were, running back, I mean, XFL, and you can't get into, maybe you had bad grades, or maybe you went to a small school and you didn't get looked at, say Cherville. You know what I mean, Zach? I would be hitting up these XFL tryouts and whatnot, and see, do something. You know what I mean?
Right.
It says I was looking at salaries.
Turn your microphone.
Sorry, I'm looking at salaries, and it was saying that the average player will make $55,000 a year. Says that guaranteed pay on a standard contract will be $1,040 a week, which equates to $54,000 a year. He also said maximum weekly salaries will be maximum $49.47, which totals $250,000. So you can make 50 guaranteed, or up to $250,000. That's not too bad for somebody that does not equate to the NFL just yet.
Right. And to some of these guys, that's more than they are making at their little office job right now, because they didn't get drafted.
Would you rather make $50,000 to $75,000 playing football, or working 9 to 5 doing something else?
I'll tell you right now, I'll go out there and be a hitting dummy for $50,000. I don't care. They can go out there and slam me around. I don't care.
Send your applications.
Here's the thing with the XFL.
He's got the IT degree. He said, "I'll be it." You can hit me.
Well, here, I used to practice kicking a football, but I can't kick in the XFL now, so they don't have field goals. So I'd really be about.
They
useless.
got kickoffs.
They do have kickoffs. So
is the punter going to do? They're going to have one kicker. Then I imagine. Surely, goodness, they're not going to have.
Yes.
So they're not having field goals at all.
I don't know, man.
Or was that just extra points?
Oh, I guess it's just extra points. I would believe that they should probably still have field goals if they've got them 4th down from the 30-yard line. I would hope so.
Maybe. I don't know. You didn't say nothing about no field goals.
Yeah, you're right. I don't know.
Just to me, extra points on that.
Just when I hear people poo-poo the XFL, I'm like, why? There's really no reason to. There's no reason. You mean to tell me the sport that's probably the most popular sport in America, football, you don't want more of? You only want to watch 16 games? You don't want to have the opportunity to watch 26 games of professional football now with the extra 10 in a different league?
I think they need to bring back He Hate Me and let him be the spokesman for the XFL too.
They said they're not going to do that again, but I like that. I thought that was cool.
Put your name, whatever you want to put on the back, and He wound up being
I'll tell you what, the
serviceable Panther.
XFL has done a good job so far of marketing too. I know they've given out a lot of not memorabilia, but shirts. They've given out official footballs to major networks. Like ESPN's had a couple of their announcers. They've brought it on stage, giving them shirts, giving them footballs, giving them helmets. Fox, who's covering it, they've done it.
That's their bankroll
They've
right
got
there.
Joel Klatt as one of the guys. He does college football. They've got him as one of the announcers and covering the XFL. So I think they've done, and they're on a better path than the AAF is or was. The AAF was kind of just thrown together. Let's try and get it done. At least the XFL's got someone backing it that's got the capital for it in McMahon. And it seems they have a smart guy in Oliver Luck as the commissioner. And I know that last name probably sounds familiar to a lot of the listeners. Yes, it's Andrew Luck's father.
The thing is going to be is
And that's what I'm asking.
I know.
When is he coming
To the
I
XFL?
swear.
Well, hold on.
Why would they not?
I wouldn't be surprised if he doesn't want to play the football aspect of it.
That's what I'm
Come in as a
saying.
coach or in the front office. He's that
in
smart.
my
Everybody
wrestling-
keeps talking about, all these quarterbacks that are available this year. Nobody mentions Andrew Luck.
let's just do this in a wrestling scenario.
Okay. Oh my God! There's Andrew Luck
Right,
out of the stands. in the
let's put that in a 90 setting. Hulk Hogan is coming in to save. Luther and Sting is getting whipped, and then he rips it off, and he comes in, he leg drops Macho Man, and then he is the NWO guy.
Here comes Vince
So let's
McMahon.
just bring Andrew Luck in, and he can be the Hulk Hogan.
he
He
gets-
rips it off, and he's XFL instead of NFL.
What if he
that'd be great.
What if he come out there and Stone Cold, one of the quarterbacks, and then took his job, then walked out on the field? Who'd you say that was it? Cardell Jones? Is that who
Cardell
said it?
Jones from
Walked
DC.
over to Stone Cold Cardell,
Yeah.
and walked out on the field.
So he walks over and just says, "Give me the ball.
You hear the glass
Give me the
break.
ball."
It would get people to watch it.
I'll tell you what. I'm tempted to root for St. Louis just because I like the quarterback Tiamu.
And it's all going to be bank. You're talking about, McMahon's having the money to do it. McMahon's not going to spend any more of his money. He's allotted what he's going to spend. He sold a lot of his stock and put in on it. The bankroll is Fox. If they don't get the ratings, it's over.
Oh yeah, TV deals.
There you go.
TV
That's
deals.
what the bankroll is going to be. Is if people watch, if they can get the sponsors for it, the fans in the stands ain't paying for it. It's going to be TV deal.
All right, let's talk a little baseball.
I'm ordering a jersey. Just kidding.
I got 3 topics I want to go real quick. The Major League Baseball, real quick, they're saying they're not going to punish, they're not going to take the rings away from the Astros and Red Sox. Do you
I don't
agree?
care. That's fine. I don't care. Doesn't hurt my feelings.
Right,
not a
but,
fan
but
of
what
either.
type of punishment though? If that basically says anybody can cheat, if we're not going to do it,
I just say
if we're not going to take it
we'll
away,
fix it right now. We'll let Pete Rose back in, and then just let everything go outside of the rug.
let everybody in.
Yep, let Pete Rose come back in.
Well, there's no sense in them only voting in 2 damn players on the Hall
We're
of
gonna
Fame
get to
list
that
after
just
there
a
was a
second.
list of like 15.
All right. So I got a new rule for baseball. See if you
Baseball.
What you
Piss
think?
me off.
What you think? What you guys? So, we got all this argument over steroids and errors and this and that. And,
Mm-hmm.
they want home runs. They change the ball. There's nothing you can believe about. What if we just made a slight adjustment in the mound? Now, when Gibson set the record, he went 1.12, and they lowered it to give a flatter angle for the batters. Baseball is the hardest thing in the world to do is hit a baseball, right? It's moving.
Yeah, if you're not
it's
used to it,
coming
yeah.
hard. All right, the speeds have gotten faster.
You can't just pick up on it easier than
Right.
than the other sports.
The speeds have gotten faster.
Mm-hmm.
Now, Hunter,
Yeah.
from the mound to the catcher, what would be your estimated distance?
What are you talking about? Just hit it 90 feet?
It's 60 feet 6 inches from the mound to the front of the plate.
Oh, sorry. 90 feet's
What do you-
first.
yeah.
From home to first.
What do you think the
so-
estimate is mound to catcher?
63 feet.
So, my question is, what if we just backed up the mound 1.5 feet?
Make it 61.
61 feet, 62 feet exactly. Every baseball field in America, you would probably could do that. You could easily back up the mound a foot. It's not that much, but then that gives an extra 1/10 of a second to the batters to catch these curveballs, catch these fastballs, and you could do that and improve. Well, they want offense. They want.
I was about to say, if you're an offensive guy,
what
you
I'm
love
saying.
it.
That's what I'm saying is that because instead of moving in parks and juicing balls and everybody, arguing over steroids and that, what if we made a slight adjustment like they did one time in the late '60s to adjust that? It's just back the mound up another a foot and a half. That's all it is, a foot and a half. The pitchers are already throwing it that far anyway to the catchers. That's all I'm asking is this much, is for that ball to travel. So,
well, no.
What it also does for the pitchers, though, Hunter, it gives you an extra foot of break too. So it's not just an offensive thing. If you're throwing breaking balls, it's giving you an extra foot of break. Technically,
so
if
you're missing from 60 feet, and it's hitting about here at 62 feet, like I'm saying, if you're missing the strike zone barely at 62 feet, you might be in the strike zone.
Maybe, and then it gives the batters the extra click to be able to swing and hit a baseball. Listen, at 90 miles per hour and up, a lot of times you're just guessing.
Yeah,
you're saying, I hope it's a fastball and I hope it's inside. And if it's anything else other than that, you can't touch it with a bat. It's so fast, and especially if it's moving. So, and Randy Johnson, we was talking about the other day, a 95 mile per hour slider from Randy Johnson, I don't see how anybody can touch that thing.
He's halfway there by the time he releases the ball.
He's letting go of the ball behind your ear, and you got to hope. Well, I hope this pitch don't kill me, so I'm going to swing real hard in this spot. I'm just looking at maybe some different ways to adjust something like that, as opposed to, better bats, better balls. What are we doing here? Like, we're all instead of everybody striking out, it'd be better if everybody's swinging the bat. I want to see people swinging the bat. Take out the balls.
I like the swing in the bat. I'm fine with that. I don't like seeing people just going up there and deciding whether or not they're just going to take the strikeout or look for a walk. I don't like it.
Real quick, to that nature, talking to a high school baseball coach, he's mentioned the pitch count, and I told him, I said, listen, if I'm coaching little league, middle school, and high school baseball, or any league with a pitch count, that is total different managing than Major League Baseball. Now, their agents might have a pitch count on him,
right?
But for the most part, we're not pitching for a pitch count here. We're trying to win a baseball game.
Yeah.
So I totally agree. Look, if I'm a high school baseball coach, take a strike, because at some point he's going to waste a ball every at bat. And add that over inning after inning, batter after batter. You're going to kill that pitch count quicker if everyone takes at least one strike.
Here's something that I would like to see baseball do, and it might just be me, but I got a
new fun rule too.
I don't mean this like cookie cutter, but I think every ballpark, I think there should be a set standard for the fence.
All right, so Major League Baseball did that.
I don't think baseball should allow the ballparks to decide how far each fence is.
All right,
some are shorter than others.
After the Astros did their Zeke, whatever they did in the outfield, baseball came up with a rule that it had to be 330 in the corners, 400 in center, all new parks. So you're right, that used to didn't be.
Yeah.
But a few years ago, they did go to that. So now when you see the Cardinals and the Braves, that's why the Braves and Cardinals new stadiums look almost exactly the same.
Yeah.
There's only so much you can do with. You have to be 330 down the line.
Okay, so they've implemented that now.
For someone.
Well, here's the thing: 400 feet. You got guys killing it at 450, almost 500 now. Dude, back that thing up. Back it up.
All right,
they want the long ball.
All right, Zach. Here's
I know they want the long ball.
New quick fun
they'll still get it if they can hit it that far.
And this will never happen. But here's my new fun rule for baseball. If I was just going to completely change the game,
wiffle balls.
You're in the ballpark, kind of. So. And this would get out the Edgar Martinez's out of the game. Okay? Every starter has to bat from both sides of the plate at least once.
No, you're talking about left and right?
Yes. In all levels. Little league, high school, kindergarten, your first two at bats, if you start,
you're forcing them to learn how to switch hit.
Right. Your first two at bats have to be right and left-handed. And then you get think about it. If the world did that, Hunter, how much better Major League Baseball would be in 20 years if all the kids started doing it. If that was the rule where you had to go right, left, and in 20 years everybody could do it all of a sudden. And then that would take out all the riffraff that could only hit one way. and you could have more skilled players. I told you this was a silly one that was never going to happen.
I know, and I can see where
it.
it's silly. I'm just like, well.
Because then you could. I got
Bonds
batting right hand.
Well, here's the thing. I'm surprised if parents. I'm surprised when coaches and maybe fathers of sons that want to play. Same with or daughters that want to play. I'm surprised that growing up they're not like, okay, you need to learn to switch it because it makes you that much dangerous.
My son can throw.
I used to try and teach myself to throw left-handed. I used to
throw.
try and teach myself how to hit left-handed when I was into baseball.
Now,
but it was still awkward.
He's probably stronger right now. I mean, you're going to be stronger one side or the other.
Obviously.
He's stronger throwing lefty right now, but he hits it better lefty, but he hits it harder right-handed, but he hits more balls lefty. So it's just he can do it, just not that great at it. All right, Hall of Fame voting. And all right, so
sorry.
a couple of things, Hunter.
Did I do that? Sorry.
Yeah, a couple of things, Hunter.
Bullshit.
The ballot, nowhere on the ballot does it say you have to pick a certain number of people.
Right.
Nowhere on the ballot does it say you have to pick it doesn't say who do you think are the top so many players.
Right.
It doesn't say rank the players this way. It doesn't say who do you think deserves to get in the most. The only thing the ballot says is make your choices basically it says make your choices for the Hall of Fame. So the writers can choose
who they want to vote for,
who, when, and where, and why they want to vote for. There's no set rules on, so
they could essentially say, I'm only going to put my ballot in with one name on it. That's it.
Right.
That's all I'm going to vote for.
And that is 100% true. They can vote up to 10. They can vote as many and little as they want. So I first want to apologize and send my condolences to all the Yankee fans out there who are butthurt today.
Jeter didn't
because
get 100%.
Derek Jeter didn't get 100%.
Well, I'll say this.
I'll
say this. If you're going to talk about which Yankee player probably should have gotten it between him and Mariano, I would have given it to Jeter before I would have given it to Mariano.
A-Rod.
A-Rod.
Come on. All right, so first of all, here's my stance on that. I don't think listen, the unanimous thing is just silly. First of all, if Jeter was voted unanimously, would that not, in back-to-back years, Yankees players delegitimize everything it is about a unanimous selection? I thought it did naming a closer unanimous.
That's why I'm sitting here saying I would have understood Derek Jeter getting unanimous over Mariano Rivera.
And here's what you guys need to understand is that the guy that didn't put Jeter on doesn't mean he doesn't think Derek Jeter is a Hall of Famer. It just meant he thought the other guys deserved to be voted for.
That or he just didn't think he was first ballot.
Right, and that's another thing. There's an argument over first ballot, which is fine, folks. Guess what they call the guy who finished last in the class of the 2019 medical school? Doctor.
Yeah.
What are they going to call Jeter? Hall of Famer. Nowhere on the plaque does it say you got this many votes. And also, I mean, he's a Hall of Famer. What does it matter to another grown man how many votes another grown man got for this? He's in the Hall of Fame. That's all that matters. What would you gain out of just being able to walk around and say, well, Jeter got 100%? Come on, folks. And you and everyone else knows that if Jeter or Mario Rivera had an Atlanta Braves hat on or a Miami Marlins hat on, that they wouldn't be sniffing 100%. So here was the votes. Jeter got in. Larry Walker gets in. You need 75% of the votes to get in. Roughly 300 votes. Kurt Schilling was at 70%. Roger Clemens 61. Bonds 60. Vizquel 6. Rowland 7th. Billy Wagner 8th. Sheffield 9. Helton 10. Manny 11. Jeff Kent 12. Andrew Jones 13. And Sammy Sosa 13. And Pettit on down the line at 14. And Pettit 15. We talked a little bit about this the other day. Of course, everyone has their different reasons. Some people are voting on Schilling because of his political reasons. Some people are not voting for Clemens and Bonds because of the steroid issue. Omar Vizquel because of offensive issues. Scott Rowland, I don't know why he's not getting a lot of sniff at third base. Can you name too many third basemen better than Scott Rowland over the years?
I was actually looking at. I was cross-referencing the first baseman here, and seeing how they're picking their mindset-wise, and you got a Colorado Rocky and Todd Helton that comes up, and I was not getting off your third baseman question, but Todd Helton's stats. I'm looking at him here. Batting average 316. Larry Walker 313. Right. RBIs 1406. Larry Walker 1311. So he's got more RBIs. Stolen bases 37. Stolen bases 230 for Larry Walker. I would have not have thought that.
You gotta remember, Walker actually played for the Montreal Expos.
Yeah, early.
That's how old that.
Now, and then you go to he did win an MVP. Walker.
Right.
He had He was a 5-time All-Star. You got Todd Helton. He was a 5-time All-Star, 3-time Golden Glove, 4-time Silver Slugger, and a batting title. So his stats almost match up identical without the MVP.
Right.
With
And
Larry
the
Walker, and look at the percentage he got. So I don't understand what they're putting in on stats. And you're pulling up Bagwell. He's first baseman, right? I would think these guys would just dwarf him in numbers.
Bagwell 440
on stolen bases, right?
449 home runs, 1,500 RBIs for Bagwell.
So he's got them on RBIs and home runs, but his batting average is probably 270.
297 was Bagwell.
That's pretty good. I didn't think he was that good on batting average. What about fielding?
Listen, Bagwell's got good numbers and everything. The question is is he a steroid person like everyone else? And that's the big thing is that
he slipped in and the other ones didn't.
Right.
Because I think they're giving Sheffield the same treatment they are Barry Bonds and Roger Clemens.
Right. Basically, if your name has been on any report, and what's so funny is what I said, Zach, is this is what's going to happen. Just follow me. You get everyone worried about the steroid people. They're going to get in because this is why. If you pay attention a little bit what I said earlier, the other day, Edgar Martinez is paving the way for David Ortiz to get in the Hall of Fame.
Right.
Through the DH. Now that he got in easily, Ortiz's numbers are going to be better than Martinez. What they're going to do then is say, well, Edgar got in, he's better than that. Bagwell got in, he's better than that, and he's this roids guy. Watch. David Ortiz will be the first steroid / HGH person that we've thought or that has been mentioned with the stuff that actually gets in. And I think Ortiz will open up the floodgates then for Bonds and Clemens.
Yeah, something's got to happen. You got to put
these writers love David Ortiz. They hated Barry Bonds. I think that's how it'll go. Go ahead.
They voted in 2 out of 32 possible players. A lot of them were first ballot. I agree. A lot of them were first ballot. Some of them, it's okay to wait for another year balloting. You're probably not first ballot. But you mean to tell me you only voted 2 out of 32 people into the Hall of Fame class? That is bullshit. This is why I cannot stand baseball.
You think they should have a minimum on their?
I agree. They should have a minimum
on the vote, like five.
I would have felt better if at least 5 players would have been voted in, not 2. That was a waste of a vote. If only 2 people got voted in out of 32 people, that was a waste of a vote. Why did you have 2? Why don't you do it like the election? Has to be 1. Just vote 1 person in. What's the difference between 2? I mean, it's only 1 extra person.
Yeah, it looks like you got a lot of people on that list that might not ever get into.
Which I understand. I understand that.
Zombie's not getting.
I don't think any of them below 50% don't have a chance.
But I want to know what the reasoning is on why you only have 2. What? I understand. I understand Derek Jeter. I understand Larry Walker. I understand those 2. But why was it only those 2? Why only 2 people get in? How many usually get in the NFL class? At a time, they don't say we're going to hold this Hall of Fame ceremony to get into Canton, Ohio for football, but we're only going to have 2 people show up. Usually those football classes are at least 8 people?
I'm thinking they have a 5.
Maybe 5? Well, even
4
then.
or 5. They might have a top 5 or 4 rule. I don't know the exact rule, but they usually do end up with more.
To me, it's a joke. If you have 32 people listed as possibly getting voted into the Hall of Fame and you only come out with 2.
All right, Zach,
you only come out with 2.
Yeah, the new age kids and stuff today, they poo-poo RBIs. They would rather have the guy that gets on base than the guy who knocks them in. See what I mean? So they would rather have me than Ralph Roberts and the Johnson twins. You understand what I mean?
They'd rather have the number 1 hitter than the number 4
They'd rather
hitter.
have Ricky Henderson than Barry
Right.
Bonds.
I see. Yeah.
Is basically how, from what I read on this stuff. But I'm going to read the RBI leaders, and you tell me when I get to someone who wasn't a good hitter. All right? Hank Aaron, Babe Ruth, A-Rod, Cap Anson played in the 1800s.
Like, I have no idea.
Albert Pujols, Barry Bonds, Lou Gehrig, Stan Musial, Ty Cobb, and Jimmy Foxx. That's your top 10. Are any of those bad baseball players? Would you not want any of all those in your lineup?
And I would want every single one of them, with the exception of the guy I don't know, over Ricky Henderson.
Eddie Murray, Willie Mays, Mel Ott, Yaz, Ted Williams, Ken Griffey Jr., Rafi Palmeiro, Dave Winfield, Manny Ramirez are the next few ones. And then Al Simmons, I don't know, 18, something like
1820.
that. No, that's his total home.
Oh, my
that's
bad.
his total RBIs. Frank Robinson, David Ortiz, Adrian Beltre, Hannes Wagner, and Frank Thomas, Reggie Jackson. Those are, I'm going to just finish out reading these names. Jim Thome, Cal Ripken, Miguel Cabrera, Gary Sheffield, Sammy Sosa, Chipper at 35. That's your RBI leaders. Are any of those people you would consider not good? And almost all of them are either in the Hall of Fame or Hall of Fame nominees. Harold Baines got in the Hall of Fame, and he's 34th in all time. I did not know he had that many RBIs.
I didn't
My
either.
goodness.
That was the one that kind of caught my eye. And then you throw out Harold Baines' name.
Right.
Would you take him over Barry Bonds?
No.
Why in the world is he not in the Hall of Fame?
It ain't even close.
Right? I mean,
It's
I would take Harold Baines over the first baseman.
Andrew Jones. Would you take Harold Baines over Andrew Jones?
Dude, I'm so confused right now.
But there's no, like with college sports, Hunter. There's no baseline like you have
I'm
to do
not
this to
talking
get
about
in.
that.
You have to do this.
I'm not talking about that. I was trying to pull up
384.
the NFL Hall of Fame class for 2020 to try and do a comparison. How the MLB Hall of Fame class for 2020 only got 2 people in, and I'm seeing 2 different things. It's like for the Centennial one, a 2020 Centennial class, and then a Hall of Fame modern era finalist.
Type in 2019. They don't do that until they don't do the 2020 until.
Now they already did because that's the
Did
one
they?
that Jimmy Johnson and
Oh,
Cowher
yeah.
are part
So
of.
we'll say this: Harold Baines. Now that would be
Even then, if that's the one, there was like 8 people listed on it. So I'm like, that's fine.
Harold
compared to
Baines
2.
would have been prime time when me and you were watching baseball. His career, 80 to 2001. So let's say 89 to 2000. I can't remember one thing that I ever watched him do that would make me even think Harold Baines is a Hall of Famer, right?
He never hit 30 home runs. He only had 300 RBI seasons.
You're going to put him in over Barry Bonds,
He
Roger
only
Clemens,
1, 2,
Manny Ramirez,
3, 4,
Schilling,
5. He got about 8 or 9.
Bobby Abreu,
In 20 years, he had like 8 300 seasons.
Sheffield.
Never had 40 doubles, Zach. Never had 30 home runs. And his career batting average
Decent.
is 289. But like unlike Ozzy, it's not like he was playing. There's no Gold Gloves over here.
That was my second thing I was
only
looking at.
6. He made 6 All-Star teams.
Not really familiar what a Silver Slugger is.
That's the best hitter at your position.
That's pretty good. Now he played.
Which position
Right
was he
field.
playing when he got it? He played like 7 different positions actually. Well, he was all over the place.
But you line up all these people that we just named just this year's, and he's still standing. If you were picking a team, you'd be like the last person sitting.
You talk about everybody eligible.
right this
Eligible.
year, everybody eligible. You know, he's probably still
Well,
sitting on the sidelines.
Watch this, Hunter. All right, Zach. Harold Baines. I'm going to ask you if this player is better than Harold Baines. Jeter,
Absolutely,
Larry Walker,
absolutely,
Barry Bonds,
absolutely.
Omar Vizquel,
I'd say it's probably fair.
Scott Rowland,
Same.
Gary Sheffield,
No way. Sheffield's way better.
Helton,
Better.
Ramirez,
Better.
Jeff Kent.
Better.
I would put Kent and Baines in the same.
I would.
Those
You think
two,
so?
those two are pretty much the same player to me. Is Jeff Kent and
Andrew
Harold
Jones
Baines.
better. Sammy
Andrew
Sosa,
Jones,
way
Sammy
better.
Sosa, Giambi,
Even Bobby Abreu. I mean,
I like Soriano. I thought he was dangerous and really good. I thought he was one of the.
I didn't even know
Soriano.
Alfonso was on there.
He only got 1%. He got 6 votes.
That's dumb.
he was he was a little guy that would knock it out of the park on
This
you in a
is
minute.
why. This is why
He's a
really
40-inch
to a
bat
lot
now.
of people, baseball really. It's just a joke.
It's hard to make sense of.
It's a joke.
Look,
politics.
between the college sports and Major League Baseball, the two things you can shoot the most holes in. Their sports with the rules and the way they administer everything.
Look at Manny Ramirez, 12-time All-Star, 9-time Silver Slugger, batting title, 2-time World Series,
Now compare
and a
to
World
that
Series MVP.
to Harold Baines.
His batting average is 312. His home runs 377. I
Jeff
thought he
Kent.
would have. Okay, I was gonna say I thought
That
Ramirez
switched
would
over to
have more
Kent.
than that.
That switched over to Kent. Ramirez got like 500 home runs.
I was
so
thinking, yeah, that would be
he's got 555.
RBIs.
2,500.
1,800 RBIs. That's 500 more than Todd Helton. I mean, not Todd Helton. The
Harold
Walker.
Baines.
Walker.
Yeah.
Walker just got in. I mean, he had 1,300 RBIs, and you're going, what? And they might be lumping him under the steroids too. I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
That's exactly what they're
Oh
doing.
yeah, Manny's in there with that, and then they just,
And who wouldn't want that guy on your team just because of his charisma?
Listen, if you ask me, and this is just me, I don't care if the dude's taking HGH or if he's taking steroids. Can he hit the damn ball when it's thrown? Can he hit the ball?
Manny Ramirez can hit.
I remember watching, and he's on the sideline. He had this humongous stature. You know, Ramirez. He had this big, long hair. And then when he walked to the plate, he was thinking, "I'm gonna knock this thing out of the park."
He kind of had a
swag.
when he would walk to the plate. He kind of had a bounce in his step.
He did, and I loved it. I thought it. I liked him better than I did Big Papi.
Oh, I think he's a better player than Poppy.
But guess what? Poppy will probably get in before.
I say he'll get 95% on the first ballot. That's what I'm telling you. It's the writers, Hunter. They love him. And Yankees fans, they don't understand that. Like, if they shut down the Yankees right now, baseball would continue.
Yeah.
And they don't think it would.
No.
And that's, I mean, come on. I mean, everything is not about the Yankees. And, I've had some friends that are Yankees. I'll look at the all-time hits leaders real quick. Pete Rose 1, Ty Cobb 2, Hank Aaron 3. Tim won't get to a bad baseball player. Tris Speaker, Derek Jeter 6, Honest Wagner 7, Yaz 8, Paul Monter 9, Eddie Collins 10, Willie Mays 11, Eddie Murray, LaJoy, and Albert Pujols is sitting at 14 right now. Cal Ripken Jr. at 15. A grand total of 32 people have had 3,000 career hits.
It looks like the yellow is Hall of Famers.
To
right?
say it at the top. Elected to the Hall of Fame, yes.
Yeah.
Look at Pete. Oh, sitting up there at the top. Now that throws in Alex Rodriguez. Will he ever get in?
Now, look at it. So, he's a Yankee. He's getting in, Zach. It's not even a question. If you could cheat, they could cheat all they want as long as they had that Yankees logo. They're going to be. So, Pujols should get in. Beltre should get in. A-Rod should get in. Ichiro should get in. Palmeiro.
He's already been voted out. He's done. Never get in.
Is missed
He
it.
started in 2011.
Bonds is on the list. Vizquel. Everybody who's up for all the way down to 55.
Johnny
everyone else.
Damon.
Beside all the way down to 55, the
in.
top 54 all-time hits leaders are all either in the Hall of Fame or should be in the Hall of Fame. Or Vizquel's got 60% of the vote or 50-some% of the vote right. They're all almost in. So 54 of the players should be in except Pete Rose. Zach. You can look at these all-time lists and just start pulling these out and be like, look at this guy, look at this guy, and so, I guess what we're getting at is they need to have a,
It's got to be a standard.
the Hunter, the standard
Is the standard.
and there is no standard, is there?
No,
That's
there's
the
not.
problem.
There's no standard.
There's no standard, and it's a joke. It's a joke.
If you're a 12-time All-Star, pretty good start.
So if Trout continues his hits, he'll have 2,600 hits if he doubles his career and plays 18 years. That would put him in the mid-70s in all-time hits.
Say, everybody
Trout
loves
wouldn't
Trout.
even make it to the top 54 or cutoff line.
I say everybody loves Trout. I would take Manny Ramirez right now over Trout.
Right. Dude, that's not. I wouldn't even think about it. He crushes them all.
I mean, they love Mike
Look,
Trout.
Zach, when they talk about that, the best right-handed hitters ever that I've seen, I'm putting Manny and Pujols in the same top 5 that we would talk. I would say they were in the top 3. You can throw someone else in there that me and you have seen as far as right-handed hitters,
Dawson was lefty. Griffey was lefty.
I say lefties. I've got Bonds and Griffey, and then you can put somebody else in there. Maybe Ichiro if you want to enter him in there. But righties that you and me have been alive, who's the best righty hitter besides Pujols and Manny?
There not many.
I loved watching A-Rod. I didn't care if he was juiced up.
He was the third one. You're right. You're 100% right. A-Rod, Manny, and Pujols are the three best righties that we've probably seen hit. And Albert might be the only one that makes it.
Frank Thomas was a lefty, wasn't he?
Frank was righty.
Was he?
Yes, he was a big righty.
I like Frank.
You like Frank?
I like Frank.
All right, so Trout would rank somewhere in the 70s if he doubles his career from now. In hits, in RBIs, Zach, this is where it's going to be sad. He doubled his RBIs.
Doubled who? No, we're doubling who?
Trout.
Okay.
He would be at 1,500 RBIs.
Okay, so he's way under Manny's 1,800.
He would be. Let me make sure I get there. I'm going to do the right number exactly. RBI 752. He would right exactly 1,500. Trout, if he doubles it, will end up between Vladimir Guerrero and Mickey Mantle in the 50s, behind Jeff Kent, Jeff Bagwell, Tris Speaker, Fred McGriff, and that's where he would end up in RBIs. So, all right, what else is he good at? Home runs, 585. All-time home run leaders, that puts him, if he doubles it, in the Rafael Palmeiro range. And the Manny Ramirez range in all-time home runs. He's got 280-something now. That would drop it if he doubled it. Now, remember, that's one thing that we don't forget. Like, people think, like, well, you're going to just do it again.
He's going to continue on that
Nobody
track.
does that. The only person that ever did that was Bonds, and we all know why.
Because even Griffey,
everyone tapered
got up
off.
To his top, I want to say he got close to 60 one year, and then he way.
Yeah, I think he got 56.
Here, you gotta essentially put asterisk next to it and say best case scenario. Perfect scenario, he doubles the amount of home runs he has right now.
Right. That's all I'm doing is doubling everything. So he would be 70th in hits, in the 50s in RBIs. Home runs, he would be down, 280? So it'd be
in a juiced up ball era.
285 for 570. So he would be right here at 13th with Palmeiro. Now, Zach, what's funny about that is arguing on the internet, Hunter, someone said that Pujols and them played in a better offensive era, is what someone told me. And I'm like,
excuse me?
I said, wait a minute. So you're telling me that they've hit more home runs by 1,000 now than they ever did, but back then
it was more
offense. And they showed
better percentage hitting.
There you go.
There you go.
You're proving my point, boss hog.
Yeah, I'm going to tell you something. No,
they hit better.
They hit for percentage.
We do Roscoe. I love it. I love it.
Let me tell you something. It wasn't. You might think it's better offense because it was percentage hitting, not big play hitting.
Yeah.
I will look at this right here. I got Frank Thomas pulled up. You was talking about right-handed hitters. 301 lifetime batting average, 1,700 RBIs, and 521 home runs. So he was a stud.
He got in the Hall of Fame, yeah.
He did.
Okay.
He's Hall of Fame, 2-time MVP, 5-time All-Star, 4-time Silver Slugger, batting title, and a Major League Player of the Year. So he was. But he had a small window.
Frank, big boy. What was he listed at there?
Probably 330.
No,
240. I was thinking he's bigger than that. 6'5", 6'6", but I was thinking, well, he's not even big as he's not big as LeBron.
No, LeBron's 250. But you got to think about it. LeBron's 6'9".
Yeah, that's the thing.
It's elongated weight. It's not just short and fat.
Yeah, Frank Thomas never was the epitome of I'm coming in ripped. And nobody, that's why he got in so great on his Hall of Fame. Same with Griffey. Nobody could ever accuse him of popping the steroids. That was probably the two best era players that you couldn't attach steroid to right there.
Of course, I hit the all-time runs, and now the internet don't want to work for some reason.
I might pull it up here.
But that hits list, Zach, I mean, that all the way down to 54, it's all Hall of Famers. It's like if
run scored.
No. Well, yeah, I want to see the run score too. But I'm sitting here looking at that hits list that we were talking about a minute ago, all the way down to Johnny Damon. Like I said, in And if Trout doubles it, he's not even going to make it there. Give me at 1,800. That's where I think that's where Trout would be.
He would be top 20.
Top 20.
Just Yastrzemski is 19th at 1,800, and then it goes down to 17th.
All right, so he'd be 20th in runs, 14th in home runs, 70 something in in hits, and 50 something in RBIs if Trout continues. And the people today say that equals the greatest of all time. When I can take all of those, the runs, the hits, the RBIs, and I bet I could find Hank Aaron and Babe Ruth on all of them, and Pete Rose and Lou Gehrig on all those lists. And I know who I could find there is who's at 17 on that list is Albert Pujols on all those. Go real quick. Let's go down the all-time runs for folks who don't know. Ricky Henderson, that's what I brought up a minute ago. Ty Cobb, and then Barry Bonds is third. Hank Aaron fourth.
They're tied.
Yeah, Hank Aaron and Babe Ruth.
Tied for runs.
The exact number of runs. Pete Rose, 6. Willie Mays. A-Rod is 8. Cap Anson, he shows up everywhere.
Look at
Stan Musial, and Derek Jeter, Lou Gehrig. So, I mean, it's the same names over and over in those top 10s on those major stat categories. So, but, yeah, the baseball thing is frustrating, Hunter. So you'd like to – your new rule would be you have to – you have to vote.
You have to vote.
Or I guess you would have to change it to
you have the ballot.
You don't need a certain percentage. You just need whoever the top.
Here's the thing.
What if you just did the top 4 vote getters?
Yes. Look,
is that what you want to do?
Full ballots in front of you.
Right.
Every name is on and is there. You have to vote for 5. Minimum. Mm-hmm. Minimum. You have got to vote for 5. There is the top 5,
and then the top 5, no matter what,
no matter
gets
what,
in the Hall of Fame.
Get in.
Then
no matter what,
there has to be some kind of a standard to get them on the ballot.
Right.
Some kind. I don't know how you can.
Well,
do
right
that.
now everybody gets on the ballot, and I think you have to have a Hall of Fame voter might have to nominate you to be on the ballot. Maybe there's something.
There's something. I saw Paul Konerko was on
there. JJ Putz, Eric Chavez.
Yeah, I'm just like,
and they got votes.
Yeah, they got a few. Probably the ones that said, "Hey, I want him on the list." But that's what I'm saying. You have the full ballot in front of you. You have to vote for minimum 5. There is no turning a ballot in with only 1 check mark, or else we disqualify it. It's not valid.
Get him out of here.
Get him out of here. That's what burns my britches today.
Get him out of here.
Yeah.
All right. I want a nomination for a team, sport. I want to do a Mount Rushmore before we get off here. And I'm trying to think who all we've done, but y'all want? Would the 3 Tar Heel folks want to do a Duke one?
Oh God!
Would y'all want to do?
I don't want to talk about puke.
I think you could do Oakland A's.
Where did that come from?
I don't know. I was just thinking we had Ricky Henderson pop up, and you had Mark McGwire pop up, and you had all these great pictures for the Oakland A's. And
man, I mean, we could do any teams. We've done the Braves. We've done the Tar Heels.
You do a fun one.
Well, yeah, whatever. What?
Top. Mount Rushmore breakfast foods. You do something fun like that?
No.
No.
I don't eat that many breakfast foods.
You mean to tell me you're not going to put the sunrise wrap on there?
Oh, you talk that counts as a whole food. I thought you meant like the actual ingredients like sausage, eggs, or liver mushroom.
Okay.
You're so silly. I was wanting to put one on Zach. I did the
wrestling.
We did the wrestling. We did the Braves today. We've done the Tar Heels. Let's do this. Let's make some Yankee fans mad. How about that? How about the Mount Rushmore of Yankees, Hunter?
None of them.
They're
trash.
I need 4. And none of us are Yankee fans, so Yankee fans don't get mad.
I need 4 A-Rods. That's it.
So, all right, how about this? There's 3 of us.
Okay.
Let's each nominate one to be on no matter what.
Okay.
I got Babe Ruth. I'll go ahead and let y'all figure the rest out.
All right.
You want Babe? I'll go with Mickey Mantle.
I'll go Derek Jeter.
Oh, my God. All right, I'm changing the rules.
Disqualified.
From Hunter, who has said over and over, A-Rod's better than Jeter. Just threw Jeter out there with DiMaggio still on the list.
I cannot sit there and just be like, the man that they call El Capitan, the captain. I can't leave him off the list.
Look, he's good.
But I promise you, I'm not putting Mariano Rivera on there.
No.
That's not on mine.
Mine would be Manuel DiMaggio,
Technically,
Gehrig and Ruth.
Technically, Technically, it's Yankees, so anybody that played for him, I can put Randy Johnson on there. Technically, he had a stint in New York. Technically.
All right. How about this? Let's do black and white.
Oh, my God.
Yankees Hall of Fame. I'm going Ruth, Mantle, DiMaggio, and Gehrig. Any argument with that, Zach?
No.
No? So there's your black and white Yankees.
That's fine.
All right. Now, Technicolor Yankees.
Technicolor Yankees.
All right. In color.
In color. Jeter.
Okay.
A-Rod.
Mm-hmm.
Clemens.
Y'all are forgetting the most important one.
Position.
Outfield.
It's not Sheffield, is it?
Nope.
Bernie Williams.
No.
Bernie Williams was
Come on,
good.
Zach.
What?
Reggie
Reggie Jackson.
Reggie
Oh, my
Jackson.
goodness.
Reggie Jackson.
I can
Mr.
understand him missing
October.
that, but I-
Mr. October.
No excuse. No excuse. Sorry, Reggie. I should have put you on there first as the
Mr.
Technicolor
October.
Yankees.
So you got
Mr. October.
So is it Clemens or Mariano?
No, I'm not going to put Mariano Rivera on there. I
Now-
would put Andy
Wait a
Pettit
minute.
on there
Wait a
before
minute,
Mariano
Hunter.
Rivera.
According to the Baseball Writers of America,
Am I a baseball writer?
Clemens is not
No.
even a Hall of Famer. The
Is-
guy who started the game and threw 7 innings, but the guy who threw 3 outs is a unanimous
thing.
100%.
Here's the thing. I'm not a baseball writer, and baseball's not even in my top 3 favorite sports.
Okay.
So they can suck on that one.
So NASCAR's 1.
Right.
No.
No.
Racquetball is 2.
No.
And
Sorry, it's wall ball.
Communist ball is 3.
Communist ball, excuse me, it's football. The real football.
And where is it popular at? What kind of countries?
The world.
Communist country.
The
Roger-
world.
Ro- Roger-
Is England communist? I don't think so. Is Spain communist? No.
Yeah.
Is South America communist? No.
Third on the strikeout list, Roger Clemens.
Is he?
Third. He's behind Randy Johnson and Nolan Ryan, the 2 players
That we
they would've
named.
picked. Is that not?
That we
Is
named.
that not interesting?
Well,
And Clemens would've
I
been my
have
third.
no problem with Roger Clemens.
Well, how about this?
But I have a problem with the closer, Mariano Rivera.
Let's play the game we just played a minute ago with the all-time hits.
All you got to do is get 3 strikeouts.
All-time hits, guys. We went down to 54 for them. Look at the all-time strikeouts.
Look, everybody's in except for Clemens. Top 15 in Schilling. 15. Let's just say 15.
Right. At the top 15
That's surprising.
pitchers of all time, Schilling and Clemens are the only ones not in the Hall of Fame right now. CC Sabathia is 16th, Hunter.
That's impressive. Didn't know that. He's ahead of Verlander.
Smoltz is 17th. Verlander is 18th. Verlander will pass CC this year probably.
Yeah, because CC's done.
And then Mickey Lolich at 20 is about the only one in the top 22 that didn't make it. Scherzer is at
Max
24.
Scherzer.
I did not know he had 2,600 strikeouts.
Greinke's is still playing. He probably
Golly.
done.
They're way out ahead.
That's
They got more than I thought they did.
That's sad.
You know who's impressive, Zach? Scroll down a little bit. Look at go back up. Go back up.
Probably seen the guy Saul Mussina.
No, I'm not on that. I'm not even on that. Keep
Oh,
going,
you're
going
still
up.
here?
Yeah, I'm in the middle. Number 48.
Dennis Eckersley, a closer.
Now he started as a starter, but still he ended up with 2,400 strikeouts in the closer's position. Dennis Eckersley. What is it? How many? Oh, don't change that list real quick. Let me pull up the Mariano Rivera. He's not on that list anywhere, is he?
No.
I would expect not. Now I did see and I did like it. I did like a meme on him the other day, Hunter.
Mm-hmm.
It said the Astros could bang on all the drums they want. The cutter's coming. You ain't hitting it. From Mariano. So that's a good point on him. 1,100 strikeouts, Zach. He's not even in the ballpark for all-time strikeouts.
He ain't even half of the top 100.
Look at Eckersley. That makes you have to think about how much how good Eckersley is on that. Then
Oh, he was coming similar, like Randy Johnson, how he would come sweeping over with it. You remember that?
Mhm.
He swept it, but he had the hairstyle of the guy we talked about earlier on the football analysis.
he had long hair.
Yeah.
Catfish Hunter's on that list. 81, North Carolina. Man, I bought a signed Catfish Hunter ball at the North Carolina History Museum one time. Went on a school field trip. So there's a Catfish Hunter He signed the catfish with it too. He's a Jim Catfish Hunter. And he had the handlebar mustache, is why he was called the Catfish. What you looking at?
I was looking at all-time wins.
Yeah, Cy Young has got that by a billion.
Maddox is up there. Clemens is top 10 in wins. He's number 9. Maddox is right above him. They're the only people. Maddox and Clemens are the only error before the Warren Spawns, the people I don't even know that had the wins in that. So that's they're just way above Nolan Ryan at 324.
So baseball just needs to get a standard, Hunter. Is that what we want? Standards. We
Get
want
a
standards.
standard, and you must have a legitimate ballot. No, I'm going to write a name on a piece of paper and turn it into a hat. A legitimate ballot.
All right.
A legitimate ballot. And that's my rant.
That's Hunter's rant of the day. All right, Hunter. Any other thing, news and notes that we need to get to today?
Nope.
On
Just
our broadcast here.
Just February 8th. We'll talk about it probably again, but support the XFL.
We're running right at 2 hours, usually right around through there. Let me scroll down through some tweets real quick, make sure that nothing happened while we were on there. That Zion Williamson is making his debut tonight. Someone texted me this morning he's getting 50 tonight, and I said maybe 10. It was my response back.
I don't know if he's going to be on a minute restriction or what.
We're talking somewhere around 20
12.
minutes.
He might get 12.
I mean, what is it?
I'll tell you what, he's going to eat up the boards. He could get a double-double tonight in his first game. 10 boards, 10 points. That ain't bad. That's solid production.
Zach, did you see Larry Walker's comment about him and Jeter?
I did not.
He said, you remember the old 45s we used to listen to? He said Jeter was the A side and I'm the B side for this Hall of Fame. Don't forget Ted Simmons is in the Hall of Fame, is added to it this year by the committee, the Hall of Fame Veterans Committee. So Clemens and Bonds and them could get in at some point through that, the Hall of Fame Veterans Committee. That's something you could maybe look forward with that. I don't know if they do or not. We'll see how that goes. Let's see. A couple of news and notes that Quake Kimball, former Shelby basketball player, scored crossed 1,000 points last night for Lees McCray. I've got it's coming up in February, and I will talk about it in the future, and we'll talk about it on Saturday, especially Hunter. The Bessemer City Sports Hall of Fame is starting up, and will be inducting their first class. I'm connected, I would say, to 3 of the 4. One of the guys I don't know, of course, Kevin Millwood will be one of them from the Bessemer City Hall of Fame class. He, of course, outstanding pitcher here for Bessemer, Atlanta Braves. How many no-hitters did he end up? Was it 2 or 3? Do you remember the total number? He threw a couple for a couple different teams. Let me type that in. Kevin Millwood was chasing Nolan Ryan's no-hitter record, or he was part of 2, I think is what it was. But the guy I played with, Chris Mason, didn't get in this time. There's no way he doesn't get in next time. But I wanted to. He ended up breaking, Millwood's his school records and everything. Neither one of them led to a state championship.
Couldn't beat Cherville.
Millwood was 0 in his life against Stevie Sanders and Cherville, Legion, and Ironman. Dang it! What is all this? Trying to get Millwood little no hitter. I'll just click on the Wikipedia page. No hitter box score. I guess he just was it 1. He was part of a team no hitter, is what it was. All right, so he's in. Mike Mahaffey in the baseball coach of the school. Coached Coach Millwood and the gang. There's the lineup against the. I guess it was against the Giants. He was with the Phillies when he did it. I thought he might have had 2. I'm not 100% sure. But either way, Millwood's in it. The baseball coach, Mahaffey, is in it. And Shamika Smith is in it. She was an 11th grader when I was there for my senior year. So her and Chris, that class what is an outstanding class from Bessemer City. She went to Gardner Webb, scored over 1,000 points there. Was a conference player of the year, I think, one year at Gardner Webb. Absolutely one of the most sweetest girls and ladies you'll ever meet. Taller than me. I used to tell her, I was like, Shamika, if we get married, I might have a basketball player on her hands or something. She just laugh at me. I love Shamika. Congratulations to all of them. We'll talk. I'll get some more details as that comes up. All right. That's all my news and notes for today. Friday, we've got to preview the Pro Bowl. I was wondering where Hunter was wanting to talk about. Some NBA on Friday, maybe, Hunter?
Yeah, definitely.
Okay. And a little bit of this and that and some other football news and notes. We've got to figure out where all these quarterbacks are going and more. Saturday, we got a Hornets game this weekend as well for you folks list on KTC. All right, we'll see you guys next week, next podcast, Shock Joxx. I'm Kevin Hastings, along with Zach Mayu and Hunter Yancey. I want to thank everybody for listening on the podcast. Thanks for watching on Facebook, and you can always watch the replays on YouTube as well on ktcbroadcasting.com.